Assemble the accused! Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor Gary Beekler. Gary, what a week, what a week, what a week.
What a week. What a crazy damn week. Not much going on, really. You and I, it was been kind of quiet around here. We weren't stirring anything up or anything, just
right.
just chilling, that's what we do.
Between the two of us, it seems that we have kicked every hornet's nest there is, except really Star Trek this week. We haven't really, but Doctor Who and Star Wars, holy crap. The hornets are out and buzzing.
They are. And, I can't say I really enjoy it. I mean, is it bad to say I enjoy it?
You enjoy the notoriety. You enjoy the fact that multi-billion dollar corporations are kind of dancing around to our tune.
I like sticking it to the man. I just do. I mean, I could do it anonymously. If I get to stick it to the man a little bit, the big, it's cool, but the thing is, I can't be done without these wonderful people in the chat. We got John Hill, Humphrey Bear, Purple Lady, Thomas Preston, Co9, Nerd Girl, what's up? Bird of Prey 5, Kaplaw, my friend. We have Father Christopher Miller. We have Warren Roar. I know that Mrs. Nerdrotic is out there listening on the road on the way down to Southern California and to go visit Papa Nerdrotic, father-in-law Nerdrotic, Warren Smith, Mongoose McQueen, Stone Loki. A lot of great people here, a lot of great people, and probably some people who aren't in the chat who don't like us very much, but that's okay. You know what I like seeing, Doomcock? I like seeing people with your avatar.
I know.
I think that's cool as hell.
It is amazing. The Without Respect, We Reject, which was designed by Demon Scythe Synthwave, by the way. Demon Scythe, thank you. And it's so amazing. I hope next year at Comic-Con and at Star Trek conventions, wherever they are, Las Vegas, wherever it happens to be, if people will be wearing Doomcock masks out there. That would be awesome.
Oh, we got to make that happen.
It's got to happen.
I want to do it at Con and at Star Trek. So if we can do it at both, kind of get warmed up. And since they'll announce all the major Star Trek stuff at Comic-Con anyway, and just leave nothing for the Star Trek fans, because, you're just a bunch of idiots who are going to buy everything. That's what they think. I don't think that. I actually like you guys, even the ones who, the ones who make videos about us denying what we say. But so there were I heard a rumor. There's been a lot of rumors going around.
Oh, yes. People talking. The Doctor Who, Chibnall sacked and Whitaker walked. And then, of course, Star Wars, the final piece of the puzzle, which both of us have spoken about. And essentially, the idea is that George Lucas retained a financial stake in the aspects of Star Wars that he directly created. And that is why there is no Star Wars in Star Wars Galaxies Edge, because they are trying to foist their own version of Star Wars on the public in order to save themselves essentially a good tip. 25% is a good tip. And for that much money, for a lousy good tip, they are willing to subvert everything that they're doing and destroy Luke, kill Han, brush off Leia. Great. Wonderful. I'm glad. I'm just delighted that it has bit them in the ass so hard.
And while we're at it, if we could throw in a little bit of agenda while we're doing it,
sure.
All the better. That's what wow, that is the common theme between Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Star Wars that's united the fandom menace more than anything, is just the utter destruction of these franchises for not just intellectual property law. It doesn't stop there. I mean, that's a common thing. It's kind of a miracle we get anything good anyway. But it's the throwing in the preachiness, the forced agenda. It's debatable what it's worse in. I would kind of say Doctor Who's kind of the worst as far as agenda. And as far as the worst writing, I would say Star Trek is. And I said the worst offense to a classic character is Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think they all have their own unique spin on screwing things up. But I mean, that's debatable too. I could probably get talked out of all those, like, no, Star Trek is way worse because what they did to Spock, it's like, yeah. Well, he's still alive, I guess.
He's Pecker Spork, though. I never made the leap. I mean, it's worse. To an extent, it's worse in Doctor Who and in Star Wars, because that really was Mark Hamill up there being humiliated and sucking the blue milk. And it really is the Doctor, because the Doctor regenerates. So even though it's Jodie Whittaker, it's still more canonical than some clown, putting on some pointy ears and say, hey, look at me, I'm Spork. And it's like, nah, you're not. It's very easy to dismiss that, but it's a lot harder to dismiss the other two, So I think you're pretty spot on that. I really do.
Oh, and we're also going to discuss later. See, there's rumors behind the scenes, and then there's the rumors within the narrative of the Rise of Skywalker that are they cannot be true. If a single one of these rumors is true, it might be the funniest movie of all time.
Yes.
If Rey raises a Death Star, or she becomes her own grandma, they go back in time, do an end game thing. I mean, it all sounds silly, but believable when it comes to Jar Jar Abrams.
God, yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah. And I mean, there's no fucking way that Death Star, I mean, you saw it with your own eyes, that the Death Star basically, in both cases, was blown to hell, translucent with the C4 up the wazoo, just totally blown to smithereens. I'm talking about The Boys, by the way, those of you who haven't seen it. There's no big extant chunks. Ray can't just raising the Titanic, and here's a Death Star.
And I'm the bestest ever.
Yeah, and Death Star pieces are not going to travel, interstellar distances. I mean, it's just propelled by basically like rocket. So, I mean, its own momentum. At most, it's...
Well, if you watch The Expanse, whatever piece is blowed up is still moving. It's...
Right.
But
not anywhere fast.
No, and no, it's still moving. I mean, it would have just gone and kept going,
Right.
I learned that from The Expanse. I learned my science,
real
from The
science.
Expanse.
Well, it's real fucking science.
Yeah, it is. Damn it,
the Epstein drive.
So
excellent.
I want to start with Doctor Who because that rumor came out first, and it's considered shot down now because of a Radio Times article. And I'm just going to say there's got to be a new rule for the internet. You cannot shoot down anonymous sources with your own anonymous sources. That's just bullshit.
Because it's a rumor. If they're anonymous sources, it's a rumor.
Yes.
It's another rumor.
It's another rumor. So you shot down a rumor with the rumor. Okay, so the people who want to choose to believe that, that's cool. That's fine. You're going about your day, and we don't know I don't know what's going on. I can't speak for anybody else. I have no idea what's going on. I've reached out to the people I know, but I don't know anybody within BBC. I know a couple people who predate my channel, by the way, who friends I've made in the past. So, who work for organizations directly with the BBC and directly with that show. And they don't know anything. They don't, the only thing I got out of my, gal, it's a gal who, works on the toy side. She said, it is strange that we haven't heard anything in the last 72 hours, I'm guessing. I checked today. I didn't see anything on the news. And again, you'd think the Mirror would run with something like this. I mean, they kind of have in the past. They love to crap on Doctor Who. They just love to. And so does the Guardian or Daily Mail. I'm not sure. You guys pick which one. But the fact that they did have a picture of them filming, I believe it's a reshoot on Sunday, but this is prior to all this stuff happening. So there was a picture of all the some of the writers together eating some lunch on the Thursday prior, and then there was reshoots on which have major implications, by the way, which are bad. Anytime they bring old Time Lord lore into Jodie's era, I just oh no. But so there was Cult Box had an Instagram shot from Sunday, but then there's been nothing since then. So I don't know. And I certainly want it to be true, very much so. And I can believe that Jodie would walk with Chibnall because they're kind of attached at the hip. I don't know if she could. I admit it's odd, but we cover Star Trek, Doomcock. People get fired in the middle of the season all the time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's not unusual. I just
it's standard unoperating procedure when in the case of Star Trek. My source does have a truly great source, and so that's all I'll say. I won't say male or female, but I will say that I hit my source up after the Radio Times bit and asked, okay, I mean, what's going on? And I asked for more elaboration, and my source showed me something else that I don't want to say. I'm not at liberty to say, but it convinces me that there is definitely validity to the story. I mean, that's not going too far to say, Gary. It is definitely something has happened, and definitely in this bit of information, the BBC had lowered a veil of secrecy. So they were strongly urging people in the know to, toe the party line. So I think that it's absolutely true. The details I don't know. I don't know any more than what I reported in terms of my video, but I do believe that at least the major parts of that are confirmed.
And the reason, this is just my speculation, by the way, the reason there is so much secrecy nowadays, because, 20 years ago, they'd report on this stuff. My God, the trades would kill for stuff like this. And they don't anymore because they are just the public relations firm for that, like the, Radio Times, although they've reported on rumors in the past, they have, but they generally kind of, are rah Doctor Who. So the reason they don't get reported on as much and there's so much secrecy is because there's so many other things involved. These little genre shows have turned into juggernauts, financial juggernauts, and there's millions, sometimes billions involved. We're going to get into that a little bit because we're going to give you a little comparison of what you and I and Midnight's Edge and others deal with CBS. When we drop rumors, because it would be very easy for the BBC to counteract this like that. All they have to do is put one set photo of Jodie and Chibnall eating a yogurt or having a tea, going that's it, with a date behind it. It's over, rumor over, and they don't have to acknowledge a damn thing. They can just go, here, look at the Instagram, look at these two cute kids working together on the set today. Done. It's over. And they didn't do that. CBS tries to do stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't really work because here in the States, when you have a company that has shareholders, you can't go out and lie that often. They do lie still, or they stretch the truth, or they keep the truth. It's kind of like Spock's way of lying. They just exaggerate. But they can't because there's certain laws in effect here in the States. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I
don't know about the BBC though.
No, the BBC probably not, but CBS for sure. And I don't think that they're very, very careful about it, Gary, for that reason, because literally, I mean, they could be in a world of civil and criminal shit for lying. So I think what they do is you're going to talk about it, but they change the subject, or they throw up a non sequitur to address an issue, or they will exaggerate profoundly, like they did when they said, "Oh, we've got 10 million active subscribers." And it's like, well, if you polled it maybe when you were giving away free months of of access, and then all the people come in to check it out, and then all of them leave because they don't like what they see. But at that point, and now we got 10 million. Okay, so we can say that, but it's a lie. It's a lie, but they have at least a data point to wiggle on, and that was worth the month of free service that they gave away to the world, essentially. And they gave it to the world, and out of a whole world, they could only get, 8 or 10 million or whatever.
Yeah, and that was with the Super Bowl.
Right. And they count people who have canceled as non-active subscribers.
Paused subscribers. Yeah. Paused subscribers. So the truth of the matter was they only had, and they were counting Showtime too. So they only had like 4 million, 5 million. Which is, Netflix, HBO, including their cable customers, both of them have like 140 million. So I mean that's what they got to get to. But I don't know if there's rumors out there that either CBS wants to buy a company or CBS might be for sale after the merger. I don't know about either of those. I would see more CBS after the merger, them buying somebody than them being sold. They're pretty big. I mean, they're still a huge company. But so the example I want to give is how the BBC could have squashed this in a second, and it just, it would have been easy. They could have come out and denied it or done that picture thing. And the greatest example is when Doomcock and I ran with the Kurtzman not being creatively involved in certain Star Trek shows anymore, and they put a Kurtzman interview on some weird, obscure podcast. I don't know how. I've never heard of him before. Maybe other people have. There's a gazillion podcasts out there, just like there's a gazillion YouTubers.
Oh, sure.
And they ran that interview, and to just kind of show what he did was he went over his 5-year plan. That's, old news, all this stuff we already knew. This stuff went back a couple of years, and but not once did anybody in the podcast go, so there was this rumor that you were fired. Are you fired, or are you in charge of Picard and everything else? Nobody ever asked that question, and they never asked the question. And people went, see, he did an interview where he talked about Star Trek, so he's still in charge. And then what happened? Like a week later, Shaban gets named showrunner for Picard. So that's how this is how the game is played. And honestly, dude, it is no skin off my back. I'll run with the rumor, same with you. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I do. When I can believe it. And I'm like, I can believe this. That's it. And that's all we ever say. So it's just something that sounds logical. And you look at what's happened, and does it explain things that are otherwise inexplicable, like with the Star Wars being excluded from Star Wars Galaxies Edge? That is an inexplicable business decision, but this explains it, that they are trying to save a little money. And in the Kurtzman thing that you were talking about, Gary, where on this podcast nobody asked him the question, listen, that right there I consider to be confirmation of the story, because what idiot is not going to ask that question unless they were specifically forbidden to ask it? What human being is not going to ask the relevant question, right? Exactly right. I mean, I would have. I would have sprung it on him even after I said I wouldn't. Yeah. Oh, me too, for sure. I would have put him right in a spot right there.
Right.
But you might risk losing your access. Like that podcast is who cares?
I don't care if I lose access to CBS. I just wait a couple of months. They'll give me a free month.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to lose my access to CBS. I'd love for this to be over so I can unsubscribe and never watch that garbage again. But we're getting another season, and Picard's coming out. And listen, and as we said, when it comes to Picard, I'll repeat this: I am not looking forward to criticizing that show. I hope it's great. I do. It probably won't be.
No, it's not. No way.
Yeah. The trailer says it all, and that's not going to be fun. I just like, I didn't enjoy Game of Thrones either. That whole destruction, that wasn't fun either.
No.
So Doctor Who, we're going to find out. I firmly believe that Chibnall will be gone after series 12. I gotta say it. I gotta say how they say it in the UK. It's series 12.
Yes.
It's, they skipped a year, and it was because of him. Apparently the BBC wanted him, and this is the initial rumor that goes back months, back to late last year, as a matter of fact, 8 months ago. So we're and I guess they still have to shoot some stuff. Doomcock. I mean, there was possibly a special. I heard somewhere 2 specials. I don't know where they're going to get that from, but I don't know how many episodes they have, but I just know that the only thing they can hang their hat on is the ratings for the first 2 episodes. And then after that, it was a steady, it just went downhill, and they pretty much started averaging slightly better than Capaldi era season 8 ratings, which is when the decline started. So you were right back where you started. You're not selling any toys. That one I know. And that just, you know what? It just takes a keen observer, the kind of person who can open their eyes and walk into a store and see no Doctor Who's toys anywhere. And they weren't that prevalent here anyway. I mean, like here in the States, you kind of got to work to find Doctor Who toys, your local comic shop. Barnes and Noble used to be a very good place, but there was a time you could find them at like I said before, the Walgreens, which is like on every corner here in San Francisco. They had Doctor Who toys. Not anymore. Not even, and I get pictures sent to me of shelves filled with the Pating, which is, thankfully you did not watch the series, but the Pating was it was like this little baby looking thing that ate metal and ships and stuff. And they had a little pop vinyl. There's like a whole row of them that nobody was touching. I was at Comic-Con, and I will repeat that I saw more women cosplaying the 12th Doctor than the 13th Doctor. It was 6-4 in a Comic-Con of inside and outside. 250,000 people were there.
Yeah,
I can't say I saw every single person, but I mean, I walked outside and inside 3 full days. So I would have seen them, and I was like looking for them. I'll let listen, and I would confirm it if I saw like thousands of Jodies running around, but going, you know what? She caught on, man. I can't. No accounting for taste, but there was 1,000 Jodies there. No, there wasn't. And the BBC had their little, they had their shop, and there was no lines. That's a first. And there was just no presence there at all. It's because they skipped a year, but I still, I had a conversation. I can't say who was with a Doctor Who podcast, and they were frustrated. They were like, listen, if you want Jodie to succeed, you trot her out to every convention. You make her the Doctor. There's a way to do that. And like having her, kissing babies and shaking hands, kind of like Capaldi did a couple of years ago when he was walking the floor of con in his Doctor Who costume and taking pictures with fans, shaking hands, kissing babies. That's how you win people over.
That's great. I mean, God, that just breaks my heart to this day. I mean, it is always going to break my heart that they did not take advantage of that brilliant actor to make Doctor Who great again. They could have really, really, really elevated the show with that man. He's got presence, he's got style, he's got talent, and he has a malevolent streak a mile wide. If you've seen The Thick of It as Malcolm, he was vitriolic as hell. He was sharp, he was spooky, much scarier than somebody like Vader or something. Just being a political consultant from Scotland, it was hell. It was funny. And it's just sad. That would have been awesome, dude. They should have had her there, but they can't, because they know that you would be greeted by a staggering amount of indifference.
Yep.
I don't even know hostility, just fucking indifference.
And that's the thing, is that that is the place where she would, that would, that's why it was weird that Ruby Rose backed out, because that's the one place where you would get the most enthusiasm. And they still didn't want to risk it. And yeah, there was the enthusiasm prior to the show because nobody had seen the show. and that's it. Like love or hate Jodie. It's really a moot point at this point because the show was so bad. Even the people who are like, I don't mind Jodie, but that was pretty bad series of television. Yeah, it was god awful. So let's get to a few super chats here. And then we'll do like sentencing, and then we'll move on to Star Wars, I guess.
Right.
But I mean, if we do hear anything, I mean, Doomcock will pass it on. I'll pass it on, and
sure.
yeah, and the conversation isn't over. Radio times as much as you'd like. For some people, it is, but let's not forget. Before I get to this, this is the most excitement I've seen surrounding Jodie's Doctor since prior to the premiere.
Right. It's like, is she gone? I'm excited.
That this was the most excitement I've seen, and the most anybody talk about Doctor Who prior to this. Everybody was talking about Tenet, and actually, if you were Googling Doctor Who news, all you would get is Tenet articles. Tenet would consider coming back, and they're talking about a 60th anniversary that's like 3 years away.
Right,
it's not even close, and we don't know who will be writing for that one or what. But and then the rumor of the movie, overshadowing anything, and that was just John Barrowman starting a rumor, which I thought was genius. Because there's no excuse for them not to make that movie. If Rose and 10, and even if it's the Meta Crisis 10, which I think would be great, and Jack came back for a movie, it would do well. It would do well. There would be no doubt.
Oh, for God's sakes, yeah. I'd go see it in a heartbeat. Tennant is the best Who of the modern era. Yep. No doubt about it. And he's basically Daniel Craig to Sean Connery and Bond, It's like Tom Baker is the greatest Doctor of all time, and then Tennant is kind of the best since then, in my opinion.
Agreed. With the little side point, if Eccleston had more time, Echo Base Network, $9.99. Man, you got to start us off with this, Nicholas Glenn. Really? Thoughts on Epstein's suicide, or is that something left for the Exozone? LOL. It's probably left for the Exozone. Also, do you think Disney will stop trying to keep money from Lucas and just give us what we want? We're going to get into that, but no. They clearly don't want to give you what they want, and that's been the commonality with another commonality between Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. Doomcock is they want to they want to choose their fans. They want to dictate what the fans. They always want to do that, but there's always some research going. Oh, maybe we should the fans seem to react well to this. That is getting ignored now, and they're just there's certain fans they don't want around anymore. I gotta find the interview. I could have sworn I heard Alex Kurtzman say something to that effect. I can't verify it though.
Yeah,
but there's
I hear what
you don't want around.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think you can say this. You can apply the same thing to Star Wars that you're applying to CBS. I mean, I heard from somebody, I think it was my source or something, but it's just such a logical thing that you don't even need to treat it as a rumor. It's obvious to me that CBS management at some point said, look, Star Trek fans are maybe 0.5% of the world's population or something is a Star Trek fan. What a wonderful untapped market. We just have to make a Star Trek for the other 8.7 billion people, and we'll just be rolling in dough. And so they go ahead and they say, well, what kind of audience do we want? Well, we want, kids, millennials coming up so that, they will grow old with the new bastardized Star Trek. So let's go ahead and make it real woke and lure all of them in with that crap, and we'll make it violent and stupid and Game of Thronesy. And oh boy, I can't wait for all those billions of new audience to come in. And they don't seem to fucking get it. It's just that 97% of the world will not give a fuck about Star Trek, no matter what you do. Same thing with Star Wars to some extent. They're like, oh well, the Star Wars fans, the demographic is growing old and we don't care about them anymore. And so we want a young, vibrant, woke, millennial, audience that's going to grow old with us and stay with us. So same fucking thing. they're idiots though, because why not? If you're gonna do that, go ahead and appeal still to the old audience. Why do you, it's like being in war and you take a city and then you say, okay, we've got this city, but look at that great city over there. And so instead of leaving a force to occupy that city while you're gone, you just run off and try to take the bigger city and leave that fucking city alone. And then that city is gone away. It restocks and refortifies, and there, you've lost a city. Instead of like conquering two cities, you've got shit. You've got nothing. So I mean, that's my take on it. Anyway.
No, it's a perfect take, and they're missing the kids because they have no idea what kids want, and they forgot that little boys and teenage boys still exist and buy stuff. They're not all buying video games. They're actually the vast majority, the people who are into this stuff and watch this stuff, and you still have to make something for them too, or for everybody instead of being so non-inclusive. It reminded me, I was reading a Doctor Who Reddit, and they were talking about the environmental. Doctor's going to be taking on plastic because this is the cause of our time. And one I won't show their name. The people are just going, oh, the same three YouTubers are going to complain about it. Yep, check, done. To be honest, I have thought for a while that they should have done this, take on plastic. I mean, plastic has been an issue for years, and yet no one thought to do this story before. And kids are really into the environment these days. I'm reading this on a Reddit thread. I'm like, you don't have kids, do you? My kid doesn't come home and go, Dad, I'm really excited about the environment. I'm going to go, can we go pick up trash on the beach and recycle? Let's go recycle for fun. No, kids aren't talking about this stuff. Their teachers are, but kids are not. And this is how, I mean, it's just the disconnect. It's the common disconnect. That's from Gallifrey base Reddit, by the way. I was reading some of the stuff on there. I'm like, oh my God, this is why I don't go on Reddit. Sorry. I'm just not a Reddit guy. Yeah, I'm not saying it's like you recycle. It's good. Throw away the trash. Don't litter or anything like that. I'm just saying kids aren't excited about it. Okay.
Well, plastic makes about as shitty a villain as a cloud. And one of the great lessons of the past 2 decades is any show or movie that features a cloud as the villain is shit, period. Yep. Green Lantern, Rise of the Silver Surfer, or Fantastic Four, or Lost. Any of these fucking things had cloud villains, and they were all shit. Same thing with plastic. Plastic makes a suck villain, almost as much of a suck villain as a space racist who is hell-bent on Rosa Parks, I guess, sitting in the back of the bus. Boy, what a cosmic mission that was.
Right. And then the insinuation that he gave a booty for a vortex manipulator. Yeah, and it could have been to Jack. I mean, that could have been Captain Jack's vortex, which I have one.
Nice.
I have one just laying around. I didn't have to give up the booty for it. I just
sweet.
I just smiled and paid for it.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. So let's get back to the super chats here. That was a long monologue, folks, but we're fired up. It's been fun. Yeah, I couldn't put out any content today because I got my new computer, set it all up, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's missing something very important. It had the fan, and that's about it. I'm like, I ordered more than a case and a fan. Son of a bitch. So my rig's all set up, and I'm just got to wait for the rest of it to show up. That's what happens. Thunder Robots for $5. I feel like Sony apologized with their actions of putting out the short teaser with the Fan Fest and making movie 3. How about you? What movie are we talking about? Sony apologized for you mean Ghostbusters?
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2016, right?
Yeah. I think Sony was the first company to recognize that we kind of screwed up there. We should let's get Paul Rudd. Everybody loves Paul Rudd, and put him in a Ghostbusters movie. And it sounds okay. I don't have anything bad to say about other than if it's made in 2019, I'm sure there'll be some wokeness, but we'll see what level it is. But everything looks okay. right now. The thing is, though, and this has been said by other people better than me, but Ghostbusters was lightning in a bottle. Duh. I mean, like, that was a one-time, I like the sequel, all right, except for the end. But the first movie was utter perfection, and that will never happen again. It was just a right time, right place, perfect movie that doesn't need to be added to. I actually like the video game. I'm not a gamer, but I thought the game was a decent sequel. I kind of like that. So
I haven't actually played it, so I don't know.
pretty cool. I mean, I'm no gamer, so some gamer would probably go, no, it's not. But I'm, as somebody who does not play games, I had fun doing it. And I really love their special edition DVD where they did the MST3K commentary with their little silhouettes and stuff. That was great. I don't know if they put that on the Blu-ray or not. I got a steel box at Best Buy the other day. Yeah, for cheap. Thank you, Thunder Robots. Yeah, I think that was Sony's way of turning around. But I hate to be a Debbie Downer. Sony is run by Tom Rothman, and he's the single worst executive in the history of Hollywood, bar none. Lori Roberts, $10. Hi, Gary and Doomcock and Harvey. The Star Wars rumors are so out there. I feel like we're being trolled. Your thoughts? And I think Lori is talking about the plot rumors.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're right, Lori. I think that's misinformation. Maybe Mike Zero should be on the case. We'll send him to the future.
Mike Zero. Well, okay, never mind.
I went down the Mike Zero rabbit hole last week. Jeremy was talking about him, and I'm like, I've never really watched any of the guy's videos. He goes, oh, you got to watch the videos. So I watched like 15 of them, and I felt hypnotized. Like I wanted to join a cult afterwards. Like, I'm going to the future. Mike Zero is my leader. He tells the truth. It's his monotone. I don't know. I mean, like, I nothing against the guy personally, and that's great. All the success of his channel, it's awesome. Nothing. I mean, it's funny. It's like, dang, YouTube's a funny place. When we get done with the news, I'm gonna call some big bullshit on a YouTuber.
Whoa, gonna lay bullshit. Some shit down. Well,
yeah.
Well, I gotta say, as far as the rumors go, I will just say that there's one that I still give a very high degree of credibility to. That one that I did a video of that actually was the most successful video I've ever done. I mean, it went through the roof, and I still stand by it. I don't know if you remember this one, but I mean, it came out. It was a leak that came out from a guy who had accurately called a bunch of stuff out from Force Awakens before its release. So this guy has access, or he's not a bullshitter, and he was saying that basically, this next movie, it's going to be that Rey says she's got some kind of special key to defeat the First Order, and but she won't say what it is. And then they go on a bunch of basically pointless adventures because it's all MacGuffin shit chasing this stuff. And then towards the end, she finally admits that she doesn't have anything, but that she's trying to get to this one location. And that location is that antenna, that dish from the Death Star that landed conveniently intact on a planet. And she's going to go in there, and it's tied into the Imperial, broadcasting network, IBN, I guess. And she was going to go ahead and upload the story of Luke Skywalker. People are going to forget who blew up the Death Star and everything in an era where there's like recordings and shit. It's high tech, right?
Yeah.
Everybody went to ITT Tech. They graduated. They and that's going to basically be like Martha Jones walking the earth from telling the story of the Doctor. That's the rise of Skywalker, because he isn't really dead as long as we remember him. And as far as Palpatine goes, Kylo Ren just basically had access to some recordings, some how to be a Sith in 10 easy lessons. and he's been watching them. Number 8, a cool helmet. And that's it. That's where Palpatine is like they're listening to instructional videotapes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, basically. And
that sounds awful.
This sounds so much like Jar Jar Abrams, and it is a ripoff of what it was in Serenity. Although in Serenity it made sense because the secret of the Reavers was really the key to the whole, toppling the tyranny of the, the oppressive forces. So I mean, that made sense. It was exposing something to the world. But this is bullshit. This is crazy, and this smacks so strongly of Jar Jar Abrams. But that I still think that you may see that. And the only reason that I actually posted that, and the only reason I talk about that spoiler, is because if it's true, you want to know it. It is so bad that, look, the best case scenario is it's not true. And you go in there and you don't have to suffer through that. But goddamn, if that's coming, you want to know about it way in advance.
Oh yeah, nobody's gonna go, damn, Doomcock ruined it for me with that spoiler. I really liked that story. Would have been so surprising and so subverting of my expectations. That Rianne would have liked that one. Jesus, that sounds bad. And there's the Horcrux rumor out there that that a Sith can attach a piece of their soul to it. I mean, like that. But that's JJ. That's what JJ and Alex Kurtzman do. They rip stuff off. For research purposes, there's no other way I would do this. I have not seen The Mummy. I'm gonna watch The Mummy because I heard it's just so bad. I heard it's just the worst thing ever. And Kurtzman got the Star Trek gig right after that. So I watched a little bit of Red Letter Media's review, and I'm like, I've got to watch this movie. I've got to see how bad it is, because apparently it borrows just a lot of. It's basically they just ripped off the MCU, music-wise and everything. So I got to see it to get some perspective on it. Maybe I'll do a video on it. But Jesus, yeah, I could see it being that bad. The rumors are ridiculous, and this is, I mean, look what we got in the first movie. They didn't have a script. So they just made it up as they went by copying the first one. And then, enough people liked it where they're like, ooh, all right, there you go, Rianne. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they get out of this one. It would have to be the greatest feat of filmmaking to make something decent out of episode 9. I think it's next to impossible. So I don't know if there's interest. Does anybody really care?
No.
I mean...
I really don't think so, dude. There's a marked lack of excitement, of buzz, of anticipation when the trailers played in theaters. There's silence, there's boredom, and this is among normies. I think that they are seriously fucked. And Johnny is not going to be clamoring to go see this thing because they're not appealing to kids.
No, and that's news. I mean, that's actual news that the Access shill-tastic mainstream media is even running with, and it must be bad. It must be much worse than they're saying if they're actually running with this, because it's obvious. I mean, the Fandom Menace has been saying that for a long time. Like everybody here, Nicholas Glenn, Black Angus Review, Jeremy's been saying it for years. You've been saying it. I've been saying it. Everybody's been saying it. That this is like you're losing a generation here, and they might have lost the previous generation. This is Star Wars is a very Gen X thing, and our kids might be into it, but people don't buy toys anymore. It's not an interesting thing to kids. Kids don't really watch cartoons. I think more adults watch cartoons nowadays than kids. Star Wars Resistance, did that not come out at like 10 o'clock at night? Didn't I hear Jeremy saying it came out at 10 o'clock at night? I mean, yeah, that's for kids. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't appeal to them anymore. And there's nothing cool about it. And, Star Wars was a nerd thing. And so was Star Trek and Doctor Who, but all three of them had a cool factor to it. That's why people liked it. There was something cool about the story. David Tennant was cool. Shatner's cool. There's a coolness to Picard too. And Cisco, and not so much Janeway, but Cisco, and it's lost that, and now it's just plastic widget thing that nerds are supposed to buy.
Yeah, they were expected to, because after all, listen, it's Star Wars if they say it's Star Wars. That's their attitude. We own it. If we say it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars. Same thing with CBS. If we say it's Star Trek, it's Star Trek. and all the little Trekkies, whatever they call themselves, they're going to buy whatever we sell. They're learning now that they were wrong. I could have told them that from the fucking start, and I did. Just because you say it's so doesn't mean it's so. And in my rules of canon, my laws of canon, I laid down that you cannot just unilaterally declare canon invalid, and here's the new canon. Because by that logic, CBS could go ahead and say, hey, guess what? Green Acres is canon now for Star Trek. So, Arnold the Pig was instrumental in founding Starfleet, and Petticoat Junction is where, all the yeomans came from. I mean, they could do all that shit, and by that logic. So it is absurd. It is, reduced to absurdity. And that just completely disproves that notion that they can go ahead and declare anything canon. And we will not buy every fucking thing that they say is canon. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it was Zsa Zsa Gabor, not Zephram Cochrane.
It was
Zsa Zsa. Oh, darling, I came up with the warp speed.
Yes, she didn't want to stay in Bug Tussle, so she created warp drive, darling.
Saruan of House Roundhead, Doomcock for $4.99. Check out the trailer for Carnival Row when you get a chance. I would love to get both of your thoughts on that. Have you seen it, the trailer?
No, I haven't. I keep meaning to. I know you have, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, that's part of the reason we were late. I was watching it. Well, it looks kind of cool, like visually cool. It's got Orlando Bloom. And I listen, anything made nowadays, I'm just like, it looks cool, but it's going to be woke and disappoint me. I hate to sound like that. But I will definitely give it a shot. It visually looks pretty cool. I like that kind of weird stuff. And, when I hear Carnival Row, though, I think of Carnival, which is a really good show.
Oh, that's one of the great sorrows that they took that away from us. I really like that show, and I think they really should have wrapped it up with a 2-hour movie. They should have given them a 2-hour movie to wrap the whole thing up. They could have done it for sure.
Easily, especially since we're getting a Deadwood one, which I'm looking forward to. Fizzenthorpe for $2. New Punishment, Mines of Rura Penth.
The Mines of Rura Penthe. That's the Klingon penal colony in Star Trek 6.
Yes, it is. It must have been your life's greatest ambition. I get to fight Changeling, and
not everyone keeps their genitals in the same place. Exactly.
Yes. I think that's a good one. Didn't we come up with no, we didn't. Somebody on the Exozone came up with one. What was it called again?
It was called Scaphism. Scaphism.
It's the worst.
Yes, that is reserved for something like bad. I think Bad Robot should be, if we ever discuss Bad Robot again, we may sentence them to be
look it up.
Scaphified.
We're not going to go over what it is. It's just bad. Whoever came up with that was really mad at the person they came up with it for. I'm just saying. It was deeply personal.
Well, depending on what happens with Picard, we may be so angry that I may go ahead and you can cover your ears, and I will discuss it in detail. It's pretty gruesome. And certainly there's nothing in it that would, any expletives or anything, but the mere description of it from historical sources, from a Plutarch, it's just horrific.
Yep. I would actually give that to even Ronald D. Moore, who's involved with that Star Trek Generations, for what they did to Kirk, and that I would reserve it for that. That was, and it looks like Picard's going to get his own version of that, but an entire series. Father Christopher Miller, who's an actual father. Maybe a double father. Maybe he's a father and a father. I'm not sure. $2. Well, I don't know. Can a father be a father? Is it Catholic? See, I'm not religious, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, it would be a sin, and they could confess. So, father, yeah. Okay. Father of the year.
Well, he's a good father. Either way. Chris Chibnall isn't worth a comfy chair. I'm pretty mad at the most angry I have been, it was when they changed the Doctor to Jodie, because I knew in my heart like what was coming with it. I'm like, because the show was getting pretty bad anyway. And if you go back in my reviews, I'm dancing around it. This is before I really found a voice on YouTube, and I was trying to like it. I was a fan, you know, and but no, and when that happened, I was pissed. My kid was pissed. A lot of people were pissed. And then we went to Twitter, and there was a lot of people who didn't watch the show enjoying the anger of the fandom. They're like, oh, male tears. Yeah. Okay, well, you know, those male tears did pay the bills, and they're not anymore. And there's a big problem with Doctor Who now that they can address or not. I don't really care. It's there. It exists. A split fandom is not a successful show. It's just not.
Fuck no.
You know, Alex Kurtzman can rationalize it all he wants, but this is the guy who directed the 17% Mummy, and I mean that's what the critics thought of it. I think the people thought even worse. Michael Maloney for $5 just saw a clownfish drop. It seems the powers that be in animation have discovered Rule 34 and are shocked. Shocked, they say. Well, I gotta watch the video, Michael. I gotta watch that. I like the clownfish people. They're good. But yeah, is it regarding Netflix? They've been doing a lot of Netflix stuff lately. Yeah, Netflix having bad couple months. Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what's going on with Netflix. I heard that they lost just a ton of money. I don't know why or what's going on.
Well, Netflix's success is based on their value. So they've been, you know, getting a lot of investor money over the years. They were in the red forever, but their value was they're still valued more than Comcast and Disney put together. Wow. They have a massive value based on their subscriber, but that's starting to erode. The investor money is not going to come in anymore. I wouldn't call them dead, but they could be the first to die. See, the thing is, I've always said that Amazon will win because they don't need they want their streaming service to do well, but they have this big store that does very well.
Yeah.
So Amazon is like Walmart. They're not going anywhere. So they're going to win this thing out. And Netflix, if their value goes down, they're dead. Because everything is just based on their value. And you know what I didn't realize was HBO Max, Warner Brothers being the juggernaut that they are. I didn't realize how many subscribers they had. They actually are probably, they could really compete with Disney, like really could, if they don't screw it up.
Well, Game of Thrones and Wokeman and
that could
Breastworld. It's Breastworld now, buddy.
It is.
I'm gonna make a video about that.
That is beautiful.
I gotta do Breastworld,
dude. Oh my god, yeah. You should. I think you should make a video on what your thoughts of season 2.
I should recap it. Recrap it, because let me tell you something. You want, the only reason I watched it, Gary, was because of you.
Yeah,
because you invited me to watch to be on and talk about the finale. So I agreed. So I binge watched the fucking thing. I binge watched it, and as I'm watching it, I'm going like increasingly getting like upset and saying, like you had been kind of boosting it for a while, and I
love season 1.
Yeah, well, no, season 1, but season 2, I love season 1 too. And so I knew that you were kind of ambivalent, but then you were creeping over into despair. And that final episode, that
killed me, man.
I remember I told you, I said, dude, I don't know if I can come on. I don't want to be a bummer on your show, but I really hate this. And it was like, I don't think you want me to rain on and you were like right with me. So I came on,
dude, I can't believe what happened to that show, because I was naive. So I thought it was going somewhere. I'm like, there'll be some big reveal or something like that. But then when William, I don't care if I'm spoiling anything. When William shoots his daughter on Father's Day, on real life Father's Day, I'm like, oh, no way. And then they just, it hits the crapper at the end. It's like Teddy kills himself and
ultimate toxic male.
Yep.
Ultimate toxic male. All the men in that show were toxic males or buffoons or useful idiots for the women. I mean, the only way that you could survive was to adapt and be a girly man. And even Teddy couldn't go that far. He had to kill himself, you know?
Yep. And in the first season, it was like kind of a cyberpunk cowboy thing, which was just cool as hell. I'm like, every element of this was cool. Then Me Too happened and it changed everything. And they even came out and said it like, well, yeah, we wrote the series. We rewrote the series for a Time's Up world. And went to shit. So yeah. And thankfully, I mean, that show's not going to last. It's only could come out every other year, and it costs like millions to make. And I watched the trailer. I'm like, that doesn't even look like the same show.
No.
It looks like a completely different show.
Right.
And it's got Tessa Thompson, who plays Tessa Thompson. You know, she plays the same thing. I mean,
I'm
like,
already
she has
sick of
zero
her.
range.
Already
Yeah,
sick
I'm
of
done with her.
Yeah. And in your defense, I mean, look, you watched it every single episode and you were reviewing every single episode. And so, you know, you were coming off season 1 and you were hopeful that it was going to be okay. And so you know, yours was a slow burn, but me watching it in a condensed fashion, it was much, much clearer to me. And I wasn't like reviewing it. I was just trying to catch up to review the final episode. And so my reactions were just my reactions without any kind of worrying about what other people are going to say or anything. I was just like, well, you know, about 3 or 4, I'm what the fuck is this? What is going on here? And then it just keeps getting worse and worse. And by the final episode, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. No, if I rewatched it, I'd probably just go like, what the hell is this thing? You know,
you don't ever
it's hypnosis. You know, I think it was season 1 burn. If season 1 like existed by itself, it'd be fine. If
it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
And I don't know, you know, it got woke. I mean, it just destroyed the show. I'm
sick and tired of man butt. I'm just sick and tired of man butt. Now when it's like says nudity, all it means that I'm going to see some dick and man butt and no women at all. It used to be in Westworld. I mean, you saw naked women all the time. Same thing in Game of Thrones. Now on The Boys, dude, all I've seen is translucent fucking, you know, it's just.
Oh, you see the butcher's booty too. Yeah. Urban. Yeah.
God almighty. It's like, I'm sick of it. I'm sorry, man. I'm just not. I'm not into man.
The fun of HBO is really gone. And the only thing that I'm looking forward to is, I'm going to call my shot on this one. So are you. We're going to eviscerate Watchmen. Like Watchmen getting the knives out for Watchmen.
Yep.
Axon N for $1.99. Hail Gary and Doomcock. Hail Axon N.
Hail.
How are you? Hail. Hiroshi Score for 50 Mexican dollars or pesos. Hail Lord Doomcock, future ruler of Earth. Hail Gary, future ruler of California. What's left of it. Funny story. Once I thought you two were the same person. Really? Nah. No, I'm not that creative. Believe me. Trust me. JC Shaggy for $5. Hail Inquisitors. Have you heard Dumsy wants to reboot Home Alone and Night at the Museum? Thoughts?
I can't. Look, I'm not a cultist of Home Alone. I'm not a big fan or anything, but it just shows you that they're only buying up pop culture in order to remake it. And that's all they're doing. That's all they're going to ever do, because then 7 years from now, they'll remake it again. They'll remake a Little Mermaid, this time with an Asian woman as Ariel. You know, this is the future. Just endless recycling, mediocrity, and the death of imagination and dreams. And that is the thing that is the worst out of all of it. Worse even than the woke shit, because it just is the end of culture. Nothing new will be made. If Disney controls everything and they're just hell-bent on remaking everything, then that's it.
Oh, and he's not wrong, folks. It's not hyperbole. This is I made this analogy during my Doctor Who live stream a week ago. What's happening right now in the TV and movie industry is exactly what happened to the music industry. Now, the music industry still exists, but it's nowhere near as relevant or prominent as it once was. It used to be the most prominent industry over music, over television, over everything else. The number one place that made the most money was the music industry. It still makes a lot of money, but again, there's no Beatles, there's no super groups. It's just ancient bands and pop divas, and there's nothing interesting going on. It used to be an important form of art. It no longer is because it reached its end. It'll always be around in some fashion or another. There'll always be some underground stuff, but kids don't want to be rock stars anymore. They don't want to be music stars. They want to go, work on video games. That's actually cooler right now. It's more punk rock, to be honest with you. And being on YouTube is way more punk rock, even though I'm ancient, but there's younger people doing it. And that's what's happening to entertainment. So you have all these giant corporations. I did this in my DC video. Warner Brothers never knew what to do with DC Comics. And that they bought them years ago. And now they got bought out by a bigger company who's doubly not going to know what to do with DC Comics. Do you think Disney, which is probably the one place that you could say that was the one corporation that used to appreciate art, that understood art and entertainment. They weren't anything else. That's what they did. And what happened to them? Bob Iger. That's what happened to them. Bob Iger turned them into a corporation, like a true corporation. So Disney is buying all this stuff out. You think it's not going to get better. What they had Star Wars and Marvel, and they're screwing them up. Now, they haven't technically screwed up Marvel yet, but it's happening. Like, believe me, they're well on their way. And Star Wars is screwed up. If Marvel stays good, I'll be happy to admit it, but it doesn't sound that way. They're starting to go backwards. They're doing prequels. They're, freaking that Black Widow movie sounds disastrous. Like, that sounds direct to video to me now. Yeah, and it's like, this is where it ends. This is where its relevance and it ends. It'll still be around, but it might just go back to, you guys remember what TV was in the 80s. It was very procedural, cookie cutter, average stuff that we enjoyed back then because we had nothing else. But there's so much more out there now that we can enjoy that's not scripted entertainment. Or there'll be an independent rush, and that's where the interesting things will happen. Right now, we're in a renaissance because there's a bunch of investor money flowing into Hollywood. It's like the tech bubble, and we're going through the streaming wars. Once those are over, that money's gone. The innovation will be gone. So that we do get some diamonds in the rough once in a while. But then they get canceled. We get a counterpart that's amazing, and it gets canceled. And occasionally something, The Expanse comes out, but nobody, with all the money, you would think they would take more risks, and they're not taking any because everybody's getting bought out right now. I think that's, I finally heard that rumor that CBS is either going to buy something or sell something or whatever.
Right.
That explains Kurtzman being around. It does. They don't want to show, if they're in the process of selling or being purchased, they don't want to show any problems. Everything's great. That makes sense. It makes logical sense. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I try to, part of what we do here on YouTube is try to like make sense of like some really weird, stupid things going on in Hollywood that make no sense. And that this is where entertainment, essentially ends. And I use the analogy of the Black Album, Metallica's Black Album. I've used this analogy before, but they were on top of the world. Metallica was a band that didn't do videos. They were really cool. They had like cool fans. They united punk rockers, skinheads, and metal. Everybody loved that band. They respected them because they didn't do videos, and they just made these hardcore albums. And this is in the 80s, right? So then they came out with the Black Album, and it was their most successful album. And they alienated all the hardcore Metallica fans. They were done after that. Then they cut their hair, and then there's Napster, and there was Saint Anger. Was it Bulls Trek who said you can kind of look at Saint Anger as their Brie Larson, as them attacking fans. And sure, they're still around. They have their set of fans, and they can still tour, but they are not an important rock band anymore. They are living off all of their old shit, and they're not doing anything new or different, and they're not relevant anymore. And they could have been relevant longer, but they decided to sell out, and they went too far and they stopped being creative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening in entertainment right now. It's just they've stopped what you just said, that we're just buying shit, we're remaking it. Freaking Home Alone. I guess I was, I liked the movie. I was old when it came out, but and I know it's a classic to some, but like we're remaking Home Alone and Night at the Museum. Night at the Museum, that didn't rock my world. I remember Robin Williams being in it, and it was okay, but we're remaking like really average shit. No,
it's garbage, dude. It's just garbage. And probably they will make they'll probably make Macaulay Culkin's character a black girl.
Oh yeah.
They'll leave the burglars trying to get in as white males.
Oh yeah.
Who will be punished and repeatedly kicked and or slammed in the nuts. Just watch.
Oh, yes, easily. And Night at the Museum will be a female security guard, and they'll just race swap everything or gender swap, and it'll be less interesting, and nobody will care. Listen, Disney's done. If this is all they can do, and remember what they before? Who was the guy before? Was it Eisner? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Michael Eisner is the one who did all the direct to video, like crappy sequels, and that guy got a lot of shit, and Iger was supposed to fix all that, and now he's doing the same damn thing, the same exact damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this is why entertainment, it's exactly as the same as sports ball. Entertainment doesn't work with companies with shareholders. I know that sounds crazy, but they worked better when they're the playthings of billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
When you have one voice, one creative voice, like Star Wars works with George Lucas, at the time Marvel Comics worked, they were working, when they got things together and sold to Disney, like they were on the mend, things were getting better. But the reason they were getting better is because they wanted to sell, but they just work better that way. And we don't live in that kind of world anymore. And I know we're way past that and we can never go back to that, but it's the single vision that really helps. That's why the MCU does well, because Kevin Feige had all the power in the world. I don't know if he does anymore, but we'll see. Breaking news.
Go ahead. Sorry.
From John Teenet, breaking news: Epstein owned by agents of Ruin Littlejohn and Jar Jar for fear of exposing their love of sad little stable sweeping boys with supposed force powers that aren't worthy of being saved by fools like Tico. Ruin Johnson body count. Yes. Oh, you mean when they freed the what were they? The rabbit horses?
The rabbit horses as opposed to the slave kids. Because they got it. Well, it was just a built-in assumption that you need the slave kids to still be in the stable for when the politicians come calling. Epstein.
So the Epstein, the Star Wars
Epstein is Express. I called it a long time ago, Gary. I called it on. I've had people writing me. I said Epstein is never going to talk. Never going to talk. He's just he will never see the inside of a courtroom. And
there was a meme. There was a meme 3 weeks ago that said a certain president.
It was so bad. It was so bad that they didn't even try to hide it.
Nope.
They had to shut him up, even though the memes were out there, even though everybody knew. They still had to silence him. And I have to say, we're not going to get into it real big, but I can say for sure, I don't view this as a political story, because every party of every ruling elite was up to their neck in this stuff. It ain't a Democrat story. It's not a Republican story.
Nope. The BBC got away with it.
Power and privilege, period.
The BBC got away with it with Jimmy Savile, and they got away with it with Epstein, and
it is not a political.
I guarantee you, I know this for a fact. When you're on suicide watch in prison, you're watched all the time. Cameras don't go out, guards don't go on 30 minutes. There's people watching you all the time.
Yeah.
And I know this for a fact. Okay. So that was some now maybe it's a little different in federal penitentiaries than a state penitentiary, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Somebody who like they busted for being homeless, and he's an alcoholic and he got in too much trouble, and they finally just decided to put him in state prison because they didn't know what else to do with the person. He's been violent, whatever. If that person was suicidal, they would make sure that person does not die. You are not supposed to have anybody die on your watch. You get a lot of effing trouble when that happens, and they watch you. So to think that they weren't watching Jeffrey Epstein for a second is the biggest load of bullshit of all time. Okay. So I have intimate knowledge of the inside of places like that. All right. And that shit does not happen ever. So yeah. They need to really talk about that. But
when he already was found half dead a week ago, and then it still happens. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's just complete bullshit. It's fucking complete bullshit. And you know, we shouldn't put up with it. I mean, like honestly, I don't care whoever's in charge. We should be seeing video, everything. And there's video. That don't tell me cameras went out. They don't go out. They have redundancies. It's such bullshit. They had redundancy 20 years ago. So I'm guessing the technology was better than 25 years ago. So yeah. JC Shaggy, Hail Inquisitors. Oh, I already read that one. Another one from John T. Net for 250 Hong Kongs. What's in Hong Kong? What kind of monetary
dollars?
Okay. By the way, sent you gentlemen one of us here, gentlemen, not me, a super chat months ago about that suspicion. Could be true, but doubt 25% figure seems way too high. So understandable that they sought to ravage the OG characters in films, though could be separate rights and royalties for merchandising. Yeah, I mean, I think both you and I discussed that. The one thing I firmly believe with the George Lucas stuff is he gets a piece. I don't know what that percentage is.
I mean, we never know.
10, 5. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the problem with these stories is that, you know, we're looking for the kernel of truth in the information that is filtered out. You know, in general, it's probably our sources are not, you know, disgruntled attorneys that have the paperwork in front of them. So, I mean, they're getting it from somebody in the organization, probably, or affiliated with the organization that has some vague, you know, guesstimate, an educated guess on what it is, but we never have the full story. So, you know, that's why I always say it's rumor because, you know, we don't know the specifics, but I wouldn't have been saying it unless I felt that there was a validity to the crux or the gist of it.
Yep.
But you know, when they say, oh, well, you're a hack. It wasn't 25%. It was only like 19.7. It's like, fuck me. I don't care. That's like, you know, okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that makes it even worse. If it's not as much as 25%, then they basically fuck Star Wars for a bad tip. How's that?
Yep. Yeah. Right. And just, I want you guys to think about this scenario. George Lucas is selling Star Wars to Disney. They want it bad. I am of the opinion they overpaid for it because they paid more than they paid for Marvel Comics. And I think Marvel Comics was more valuable than Star Wars. I thought that then. I think that now. They have more viable characters that you can make single movies out of and products. It's just, I mean, you know, they overpaid for Star Wars. So George Lucas sitting down, he knows they want it. And he's like, all right, I'll sell it to you. But, you know, I want to, you know, I won't have any creative say, but I want a piece of Darth Vader. Anytime you put Darth Vader as I made him in anything, I want whatever percent, 1%, 0.5%. I can see that happening. Couldn't you see that? I could see that happening because he had him over the barrel anyway. Like they were going to buy it. So George Lucas is a good businessman. He's a lot of things. He's a better businessman that I even think he cares to admit to I think he's a better businessman than he is a director. And a creative. I think he's good at ideas, but I think he's much better, goddamn THX sound. He's just done some other stuff that's a lot better. And yeah, he's no dummy. So I think, honestly, I think Disney just thought that we could do our own stuff. We're confident, and we're making most of it anyway. So we'll put some of the old stuff in, get rid of it, get people hooked on our new stuff, and they'll love it. Bob Iger is not doing any of the creating. Bob Iger's frame of mind is I'm getting the top people. Well, at the time, I'm getting the top people in here. I'm paying top dollar for supposed top people. So I'm going to have confidence in my people to produce something. And what changed was they stopped hiring top people. I got to get the top black person and the top gay person. I got to get this. I can't have the top person who could be black and gay at the same time. They could be the best person. I'm just saying when you're going to tick boxes, you're not getting the best person all the time.
No, I mean,
that person is.
It's like their top men are the same top men that were evaluating the Lost Ark, which meant basically none. It's in a box.
Man, exactly.
We have top men looking at it right now. Who top men?
Man, that was Porkins, by the way.
I know, he was great. He was very good. Both those guys, by the way, in that scene, the government agents together, they worked flawlessly together. Better performances just by those guys than in the entirety of Star Trek Discovery.
Absolutely. No, it's I swear I'm going to do this. I just promised, but Robert Meyer Burnett, I've told the story before, listed off like all the movies from 1986 a few live streams ago. And it just, when you hear the list out loud, you're like, oh yeah, those times are long gone. Like we are on the decline. We have been in the decline as far as films are concerned. I think we're still in a television renaissance, but as far as films are concerned, we are at the end of the decline, in my opinion. Peter Davison, I hope Doctor Who rumors are true, with a big heart. Peter Davison for Australian $2. My friend, give my best to your mother, by the way, to Mum. I really want them to be true. I want them to be true. Want to give a little high five over to TARDIS Zone. I want him to he doesn't need to get vindicated. I think he'll be right at some point. That's just my guess.
I send out a unequivocal support to the TARDIS Zone. Great guy, good friend, and he takes a lot of shit. He takes an awful lot of shit, but I think he's a great guy.
We all do.
we all do, but
I just ignore it. Yeah, it might be new to him, but he's doing good.
Okay.
He's doing all right. I was watching him. He's handling it just fine. Yeah, awesome. That's the way you got to handle it. You just kind of don't worry about it. Just let it slide off, man. That's
the advice I gave.
Completely ignore it. So, and then they're gone. When Shaban gets hired, where is everybody? Where'd you go?
Golly, everybody that was saying Kurtzman is in charge. What are you talking about? You're a liar. And then it's announced, and then there's like, they're just the crickets, and they're all scurrying away, licking their wounds like wounded marmosets.
Did I share the article? I shared it with Tom. They just completed script writing for Picard yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute, haven't you been filming for like months? And they just completed, like, Shaban's like, I just finished the Star Trek Picard scripts. I thought you've been filming for 2 months. Okay.
Well, what it means is that he probably finished the revisions of the revisions, trying desperately to wash Kurtzman's stink off of the hairy ass of STD. I mean, Star TP, same thing.
He's a pressure washer for that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Wayward Astronaut for $20. Wayward, thank you so much. Hail, gentlemen. I have to admit, I'm skeptical of the Lucas rumor. The new EU almost exclusively focuses on OT era and characters. If the rumors were true, wouldn't the spin-offs follow the route of Galaxy's Edge? The new EU, as far as what? Gaming and stuff like that, that might be a completely separate thing. That's what I mentioned in my video. It could be just applicable to parks. It could be applicable to films, merchandising, or they're okay with sharing money with him in the EU.
I just think that, I mean, they've basically jettisoned the EU. And so I assume that
He said
there's
new
some,
EU. So I'm assuming that's games, right?
well, no, the EU would be all the old, novels, comics, games.
Yeah. So is it just
Extended
comics?
universe, the whole fucking thing. I mean, basically, Mara Jade and all the Zahn stuff. I mean, they have a whole plethora of stuff that's all owned by Lucasfilm. Now, I mean, the probably the creators like Zahn and stuff, they probably get a little piece of it if they use like some of the characters that they invented, like Thrawn, Admiral Thrawn, right? Zahn would probably get a chunk of that. I mean, I don't know what the individual rights situation is. Probably varies by contract, but still, I mean, there was work for hire. So, theoretically, Disney should have access to that, unless because it was a work for hire under the tenure of Lucasfilm, like under George Lucas's stewardship, then probably there's just some little language in the contract that would say that any extended universe materials acquired by Lucasfilm Limited Incorporated during the tenure or between a certain number of years shall be treated as, subject to this royalty or encumbrance or whatever you want to phrase it. So that's why they're not using that, because they thought in their arrogance, well, we won't use Luke, we'll use Rey. Same thing, only improved because it's a whammon. And then we'll not use Poe. We won't use Han, we'll use Poe because space pirate, charming rogue, whatever. Well, interchangeable, doesn't matter. And Finn, I guess, is R2D2 and C3PO combined or something, the comedy relief. I don't know what the hell Finn is, frankly, other than a mistake. But Rose Tico is, they're basically just trying. They thought that they could pull up a shuffle on us and substitute this crap for our beloved characters that we would be stupid enough not to notice. Well, guess what, Disney? You fucked up. You fucked up real big. You didn't realize it was such a goddamn gamble, and you've lost, and now you're fucked. I mean, you were like on a bender or something, and you thought it'd be perfectly fine to bet the mortgage. You're drinking and you're high on the hog and you're acquiring this and you've got a big stack of chips. It's like, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to throw my mortgage in. And then came up snake eyes, motherfuckers. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, with the EU stuff, when we're talking, Mara Jade and like comic characters and
right. I mean, they could have done Dark Empire for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that stuff's finite. It's kind of like I was talking to you about this earlier. It's like hardcore Star Trek fans. The EU's got its fan base. It's got a very specific fan base that's never gonna like approach normies at all. Like that's for your hardcore Star Trek fans who just want more and more and more of it, which is great. Star Wars fans, and it's got its place and it makes a lot of money, but it's never going to make what Darth Vader makes. I mean, that's a whole separate thing. So, the scenario could be, we're talking about particularly Galaxy's Edge. There's like no icon. There's no rational explanation for no iconography anywhere. I walk through it. And I know It's got its own story. Well, you know what? If it does, I didn't know about it. I walked through the whole damn land, and apparently it's got like a character and a story, but there's nothing there that tells you that. Like nobody handed me a comic book or a guide or something when I was walking in, letting me know there's a story that I'm supposed to be part of. What am I supposed to automatically assume I have to go to the website or something like that? Yeah, that is only for hardcore Disney nerds and people who like the EU. Joe Normal is not going to know that crap. He's just going to walk on. It doesn't look very Star Wars to me.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. So maybe you're right. Maybe they just like when at the time when they were conceiving the park and stuff, things were going great. Force Awakens was out. Maybe it was a little before that, but their energy was high. So like, we can do our own shit. We'll knock this out of the park. It's kind of like the sure thing never ends up being the sure thing. Right. And they're like, you know what? We can save some money by not paying George his 2 or 3% on this.
Right.
And that's what I see happening.
Never underestimate how much a square antenna sucks.
Yes. And never underestimate.
It's a symptom. It's a symptom of suckage.
Never underestimate what a company will do to save some money and not pay somebody. Like they will do some insane shit. Oh, here's a good one. But no, it's a good point. Wayward Astronaut. Thank you for the $20. JC Shaggy for $5. Doomcock, congrats. Everybody, congratulations to Doomcock on 40,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
Are you at you got to be at 41 now? Are you close? 41?
I'm close. I actually just a few days I've gone from 40 to damn near 41. I think I'm about at 40,780, 40,008. I haven't checked recently, but it's moving.
If you're not subscribed to Doomcock, please do so. Could one of my here, I'll do it. Let me get your channel in here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
No problem. And we'll please subscribe to Doomcock. I want to give him to 42,000. Can we get to that's a good number? I like tonight. I don't know. That might be asking.
Well,
like
that would
40,
blow my
let's get him to
mind.
42,000. Let's do 42,000. We want to do it. It's like 1,000. You know, there's a couple thousand people watching, right? It was. Yeah. Oh, wow. 2,300. That's brilliant.
Wow. Wow. Fantastic.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, here's somebody I haven't seen in a while. Typo Negative. What's up? Epstein faked his death and underwent plastic surgery to become the new CEO of Disney. That's dark. Too soon? Nah. I don't think anybody's sorry to see him gone. That's for sure. You know, but I kind of wish he would have stayed around to rat out the rest. But you know what? Maybe if they just like lean on, you know, Kevin Spacey, something like that, maybe they can still get the information. I would, that's what I would do. I'd find some, you know, Kevin Spacey had to like screw up on his taxes somewhere. I'm just trying to give the government ideas. Just lean on him, and I think you'll get the information you need. In my opinion. Lloyd, $5. If the rumors are true about Doctor Who, it could cancel the show for years or permanently. It would certainly have repercussions on the careers of Chibnall and Whittaker. Unless it was the BBC who fired them, and then they could weather the storm. This already has repercussions on the show, Lloyd, and I know you know that. I'm sure you because I've seen Lloyd definitely knows what's up. The repercussions have happened. They're if they keep going down this road, like season 12 will have more repercussions on the show, Doomcock, than firing Chibnall and Jodie. If they'd actually be better off firing Chibnall and Jodie and not showing series 12, and the franchise would be better off. The worst thing they can do, and I've said this about Star Trek, is actually show the content they've been making. There's nothing I can say, or you can say, or anybody else can say that's any worse than what they've actually produced.
That's right. The worst thing that we can do to Star Trek Discovery or Star TP is to review it.
Yep.
Just to describe it. That's all we have to do. That's the mind killer right there.
Cheryl Laera for $1.99. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl.
So are you guys.
JC Shaggy for $2. Will Harvey become a member of the Inquisition? I'll leave that up to you.
I don't know. You know, he'd then want it rotated in on his channel, and you know, he's a little shit. We might have him guest on here, but nah. He want to kill everyone too. By the way, I mean it would be the same penalty every single topic, no matter what. I say death. You know, it'd just be like that. And then, you know, no comfy chair, no nuance. We're all about nuance here on the Inquisition, Gary. And
yeah, that's what we are. Yeah, you're right there. Certainly. So these images I put up once in a while, these are from Doug Nelson. All right.
Yes.
He does a great job on these. I want to thank him. I had more, but I only got a couple I could put up. But I want to show these from time to time. Yeah, he makes these. These are brilliant. So thanks, Doug, for those. Let's get to some more super chats here while you're looking at that image. And we're going to go to Silhouetted Animator for $2. Will you review Preacher season 4? Maybe if I have time. I was having a little trouble getting the computer together. I'll probably do review the first 3 episodes next week on Nerdrotic Live, Silhouetted Animator. We'll see. I still got to do my boys review. I've been kind of putting that off because I'm not looking forward to it. I know some people absolutely love it. And I'm just saying, read the comic. But that's what I say for everything.
I read the comic, and that's why I can't watch this show.
Yeah, they make a few decisions that damn near ruin it for me. It's still well made, and there's certain things like they get Homelander like dead on, like, whew, it's good. But there's some stuff that I'm just like, why did you do that? You didn't need to do that. Cormoran for Australian $5. I theorize that Kylo merges with the Death Star, then he and Rey go back in time. Rey then has 2 kids with Kylo Star, Anakin, and L337. It'll be fantastic.
Fantastic. Cormoran was my very, very first super chat of all. So, mate, good to see you here. I love that.
That's pretty cool. I like that. That was funny. Well done. Well done. Christian Basil for $10. That was my podcast, Gary. They need to send her. Well, I was trying to keep you anonymous, but if you don't want to be anonymous, that's fine. The podcaster I was talking about was Christian Basil. Are you sure you want to associate yourself with me within the Doctor Who community, Christian? Because I'm not well liked in there. For $10, that was my podcast. They need to send her to every convention if they're going to skip a year. Worst decision Chibnall could made. Yeah, besides him accepting the show. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, there's no hope for Doctor Who. I'm sorry, I'm gonna burst like most of you know this. It's not gonna help if Chibnall gets fired. It's gonna be a lateral move. Chibnall will be gone. They'll bring in a woman to run the show, and it'll be the same woke crap whether Jodie's there or not. It's still going to be BBC produced Doctor Who, full of woke, full of crap, and it'll just be more of the same. Let's not forget the Capaldi era with Clara was pretty bad. Now, I heard like Bill was an improvement on Clara, but that's like, that's like I got a cracker after somebody offered me a piece of poop. I mean, like Bill was, when she wasn't reminding us she was a lesbian every 5 minutes, she was okay. She was all right. She had personality and she wasn't totally annoying. But it was already gone at that point. So we would have to like roll things back to 10 years ago, and they're just not going to do that. I mean, that's not going to happen, Doomcock. No. I wish it would. I mean, I certainly wish it.
Well, my source was very, convincing or convinced or whatever, despite the fact that Neil Gaiman is like tied up over at Amazon, that he was under consideration, and that Michael Sheen was very interested in being the Doctor. So, I mean, I can't dispute that. All I can do is report what I'm told. I don't know if that's.
I'd love that to happen,
but he would be fantastic. Yeah. I mean, but then you're saying, based on, I think you're right. Okay, I think you're right, but I also think you're cynical to some extent, as I am. That there's no way that they're going to follow her up with a white man.
No way.
I would like to think that somehow maybe something is going on. Maybe like, look, Michael Sheen maybe has connections. Maybe he's a nephew of some Beeb exec or something, and so that overcomes it. I mean, I don't know, but I would love to see it. I think he'd be absolutely what they need. Either that or Hugh Laurie. Can you imagine Hugh Laurie as the Doctor? Fuck me. That would be like the best. Or Rowan Atkinson. Fuck me. We've seen what Rowan Atkinson would do with the Doctor, and it was like one of the best Doctors I've ever seen, the Doctor Who with Rowan Atkinson, right?
Yeah. That was funny. Listen, if they brought in a young man, it would do well again. If they got rid of all the wokeness and they just told Doctor Who stories, and they brought in a young man, I don't care what color skin was, it would do well again immediately. Yeah. But they're not going to do that. I mean, like Richard Madden was rumored Could you imagine if Richard Madden was the Doctor right now? I mean, it would be, for one, it would be more popular than it is now. It would be much more popular. It would be on top of the world. They could probably even afford skipping a year. And it would be event television
They're
again.
idiots. They're just fucking
Yeah.
idiots. What about Carl Urban? Carl Urban is the
Yep.
Doctor, for fuck's sake. I mean, that would be like an amazing Doctor, like a weird kind of mischievous bully boy kind of Doctor. That'd be a very original take on it. That'd be so cool.
I could never pronounce his name. But he played, he was in 12 Years a Slave, and he played the operative in Serenity. That's who I wanted to be the Doctor prior to Jodie. I did a whole top 10 list, and I picked that guy. I was like, this guy would be an awesome Doctor. There's also, God, I think it was one of the Red Dwarf guys. There's some people who wanted, Peter Dinklage, the only American. I would love for Peter Dinklage would be a perfect freaking Doctor.
Well,
if you were going to go American,
he'd be good, but I can't. Look, he can't. Well, he can't. Then he can't be an American. I've just said it. I'm saying it straight up.
He mostly can't.
He'd have to have the accent
American
or whatever.
involved.
But I will not tolerate an American Doctor. Period.
I don't want Americans working catering on that show.
Yeah,
I want nothing involved with. No. He would be my only exception, and that would be to get fans back, because they need to do something drastic to get fans back. And listen, I am when it comes out, and they keep saying, oh, it's going to come out earlier now. That's the one I heard is that I was reading on some of the Reddit that they're going to, no, it's coming out in spring of 2020, right when Picard's coming out, by the way. So we'll be able to review them both at the same time. Great. And it'll have half the ratings it did last year.
The Inquisition is going to be so busy this year. We got so much to do.
Oh, it's starting in October.
I know. But you know what? We'll be here every single Sunday.
Yep.
Without fail. We are, I hate to pat myself on the back, but we are the required viewing for Sundays. That is it. We are YouTube on Sunday.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Better you than us, Gary. Says Kate's daughter.
Yeah, well, we're going to suffer a lot. So please send us drink money. Well, me anyway.
Send him coffee.
But,
I need some coffee.
Well, that's
Christian. Thank you, Christian Basil. Trooper Bear FN 2525 for $5. Blue milk is only 25% Ewok, contains 73% porg and 2% fake crystal fox Pokemon. They Kurtzmanized the Vulpix Pokemon and called it a Vulptex. You're getting in some Pokemon lore there, Trooper. I know nothing about that stuff. I hope I didn't butcher it too much, but yes, they Kurtzmanized it because I think it's just an intellectual property thing that Bad Reboot and Secret Hideout have kind of perfected. I think it's something that's been around forever. I mean, Midnight's Edge has gone over multiple things, not just Star Wars and Star Trek, like, freaking Terminator. Terminator was so messed up for so long that like certain parts of the Terminator like belonged to one company and certain parts didn't. Listen, Marvel Comics was that way. Namor belonged to like producers, not a studio. It belonged to some producers. And they got that back recently. There's still some murkiness with Universal. Like they can't make a solo Hulk movie without Universal being involved. There's still IP stuff that ruins everything. And instead of, Disney at any time could just pay Universal to get Hulk back. It could just cost them a lot of money. And considering what they've paid already, for Fox and everything, that they need to recoup that, and they might sell something to do that. That's why, these big companies buying everything up, it's just going to lead to something bad.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's best to make your peace with it and go, it was a good run. It was a good run. And that's where I'm at with Doctor Who. I cannot see the BBC turning stuff around. I'd be shocked.
Well, look, all I can say is what my guy said. So, I was filled with a hope that, there was gossip. I mean, I talked about this in my live stream. There was gossip in something my source said that I didn't report because, I mean, it's extremely gossipy. There's just no way to confirm it whatsoever. Not whatsoever, but I mean, so the gossip is that nobody, like from the old guard of Doctor Who, is a fan of Chibnall or Whittaker. Nobody. None of them. There's just not like there's like a club, you know, among these people. And I mean, you know, Russell T Davies and Moffat, and you know, there might be little rivalries or stuff, but I mean, they're pretty much united in that this is crap. That's the gossip that I'm hearing. So it may even be so bad. I mean, that they might somehow reverse course. I think you're right, but I'm allowing myself a little bit more hope. That's all I can say. And I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying it's so fucking glaringly obvious that I'm just hoping that somebody is still a fan of the Doctor. That's all I'm saying.
Hearing some of the plots that they decided to go with for series 12. Now there's only a couple we know. There's only a couple, 3 episodes we know about. There's nothing out there. That's probably going to be what my next video is going to be on Doctor Who is in my researching after the rumors. I was trying to find something. So I was digging everywhere. And what I found was a severe lack of interest, like nothing. Like last year, there was, here's a list of season 11 spoilers. There's nothing. There's zero. Nobody cares. This used to be event television. People were used to theorize on Reddit. Now it's 1 or 2 comments on. I was on a Reddit page that has 100-something thousand people. In the middle of the day, there was 200 people logged in. 200 people logged in. But there's like nobody cares. You know,
wow.
It's sad. It's sad what it's gone down to. And Doctor Who has lost kids. I don't care what they say. All you have to do is open your eyes, look around. They lost kids, and that was the one franchise that got them. A few years ago, there was tons of kids in the Doctor Who, but they lost them as fast as they picked them up. Too bad. Did you see Ian Glenn as old Bruce Wayne in the Titans season 2 trailer? Was very brief, kept his accent, which was weird. I think that was an American accent. He just kept the same tone of voice, Frank. I don't think there's a British Batman. Unless I heard that wrong. It was kind of weird. And I will caution you that Titans is written by Akiva Goldsman. That's it. Thank you for the $4.99. Michael Maloney for $10. The blue milk is made from Ewoks. Ewoks, I say.
Exactly.
Soy walks. Tim Riggs, $4.99. Hot tip. Want to get kids interested in something their parents were fans of? Don't screw over the parents.
Yes. Excellent. Yes.
We still buy everything.
Beautiful.
I'm guessing Kurtzman's not a parent, though.
No, probably not.
David Button, Canadian $10. Nerdrotic movie idea. Doctor dies, but the Doctor is needed to save the galaxy. How? Jack and friends need to regen another Doctor using Donna. But where is she? The Daleks have her, but why? Oh, I like that idea. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Bring back the Metacrisis Doctor. I mean, that's what they made him for, was to bring back Tennant. Yeah. BBC burst their bubble wrap in Doctor Who. Peter Davison for Australian $2. Yes, they burst our bubbles a long time ago. They did. Jodie meets Plastic Man, silhouetted animator for $2. That would be too interesting for them to do. And Plastic Man is a white male, so he'd have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, she'd pop his bubble, old Plastic Man.
Promises I can make for Doctor Who Series 12, having watched every episode. A white guy will be the bad guy for most of the episodes. Occasionally they'll mix it up and make it a non-white male, but it'll still be a male who will be behind everything. And they were doing that in the Capaldi era too. And that will be your villain. That will be your reoccurring villain. Cybermen will be the patriarchy somehow. They'll make them the patriarchy, the cyber patriarchy. That's it. Although they've already done that. That's a story they've already done. So like a long time ago, like 10 years ago. Yeah. So criminal imagination. Oh, wait, I got to go back up. Wow, that jumped on me. Stanfordson for $5. They don't understand Star Wars can generate new fans on its own. I discovered Star Wars during the Dark Age in the early 90s. Hail. Yeah, it can. But that's when it was still pure Star Wars. Even those Dark Ages, it's still in its purest form. What it is now, if you're saying they would have been better off just leaving it alone, yes, they would have. Jason Green for $5. Hail to the Inquisition. The 80s had some of the best movies. By the way, what kind of Build-A-Bear would Harvey like, Jason? What Doomcock? What would
I don't know. I'll ask him. Harvey, what kind of Build-A-Bear would you like?
Maybe the kind that's kind of cute and cuddly, and you assemble it, and it's so sweet, and you leave it there, and then it becomes alive, like Chucky, and it goes to the button, and it pushes the button, and it says, "What is your bidding, my master?" And I say, "Destroy!" And then Build-A-Bear goes on a fucking rampage and destroys everything in sight. And I sit and eat popcorn, and then I go ahead and clean up after. That would be great if you could do that. Solid, man.
Solid.
That'd be great.
A bear that can push the button.
Yes.
Probably that kind, but that wouldn't be good for humanity, Jason.
No, it would be bad, but like Chucky, like comes alive and has malefic intentions towards humanity.
Yeah, exactly. How well you know me.
Yeah, I do. I know you very well. Anyway, back to you, Chet.
Brian Herrick for $5. Gary and DVD. What would you have thought about Capaldi becoming the Volyard at the end of his first season? Oh, that would have been epic. That would have been epic. If they would have stuck with a Doctor Who storyline and made him the Volyard and maybe had some kind of redemption tale on top of that. Woo, that would have been good.
I just think the fact that they made him a buffoon to the goddamn companion, I don't think anything could have redeemed that. Basically, they should have just made him a badass. That they did not make him a badass. I
your
can't.
Favorite right there. That's your girl.
Whoa!
Your girl.
What the?
It's a little Clara Lego.
Why the fuck do you have that? That obscene goddamn thing. What the?
I actually liked her in this episode in Asylum of the Daleks. That's the one where she was flirty, and that's the Clara we were supposed to get. And then they hoodwinked us after that.
God.
Yeah. Hey, Asylum of the Daleks is one of the best episodes. It's like a freaking solid episode. Kind of went. I think that might have been the last good episode. Like really, really solid all the way through episode. I dug it. But that's because Clara was flirting with Rory, and she turned into a insufferable so-and-so after that. Doomcock, your story doesn't allow for stupid fanboy enablers, says Ralph Wiggum for Australian $5. Well, I mean, that's good, right? Your story doesn't allow for stupid. Which story is it? The rumors, the Star Wars rumors.
Yeah, I don't know to which you are referring, sir.
Yeah,
I have many stories.
Sarcastic. Yeah. Yeah, that came from 644. That was like an hour ago. So sorry, Ralph.
But sorry, man.
I'm sure it had to do with the fanboy enablers. That's what we're fighting, Ralph. I mean, and you know that's what we I mean, it's a tough battle, that hypnosis, especially when somebody's more into the products they buy than the actual movie or the content of the story. They're like more into the toys,
right.
I like kind of Star Wars, but I like the toys more. You know, it's that. Yeah, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. D. O. Berg for $5. Cosmic Book News reports Star Wars Galaxy Edge may close and be rebranded. If AT&T does not want DC Comics, will they sell it? Two-part question there. The first question, do you think there's truth to the rumor that they would rebrand Star Wars Galaxy's Edge this quick?
Yeah. I mean, it's a failure. Now, I don't know if it's as much of a failure at the other park where it is. What, in Orlando?
Yeah.
I don't know if in Disney Orlando it's having the same issues, but look, they're taking losses, and it's not good. It's been an unmitigated disaster publicity wise. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, especially since it seems to be dragging down Disneyland entirely.
Yeah. I would see them filling it full of original trilogy stuff before they rebranded it. That would just be my guess.
Them 25% or
it might,
or even 2%.
Yeah, it can't continue the way it is.
No,
I mean, it's like it because I was there. I was at Disneyland, and it's bringing the park down. It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm your average guy who goes there. I'm not a Disney blogger. I'm not this Uber fan. I like Disneyland. It's probably the only thing I like about Disney.
Yeah.
And I used to go there a lot, and I don't want to go back. Like I have no desire to go back. I'm like, it kind of ruined the park for me. I like the other stuff. It was charming. I like the Country Bear Jamboree.
Then there's your answer. I mean, if you are feeling that way, then Disney may realize that a lot of people are feeling that way. And so I think rebranding and closing is a possibility, especially since they have a new attraction coming up that they can't get working. I've heard this numerous times from people who are actually employed at the park, and they cannot get this goddamn thing working. So they might just say, "Oh, fuck this! Oh, fuck this, Goofy! Let's get the fuck out of here!"
I can't say how much. I'll let because I was part of another conversation with Jeremy, so I'll let him run all the news with that. But that's true. There's another ride that they're having complications with due to technology.
Yes.
And it caused the delay. That is absolutely a fact.
Yeah, that's no secret. I mean, that's out there. My people have been telling me that, but since I don't have any particular,
because they're going wireless.
And
it's all wireless. Yeah.
And what the ride is, I haven't been told, so I don't.
I don't either.
If there are any people out there that know what this ride is and want to tip me off, dictorvandoomcock@gmail.com. Please send it to me.
So the second one, if AT&T does not want DC Comics, will they sell it to Disney? No, they will not sell DC to Disney ever. They will they will turn it into a lifestyle brand. And no, they would, because I even read it in that article. Their iconography, the Superman symbol, the Batman symbol, Disney doesn't own anything that sells that good. Those things outsell Disney stuff like 100 to 1. That's their best selling thing ever. Is the Superman symbol and the Batman symbol. They will never ever sell that. Will they shutter DC Comics and turn it into something else? Yes, 100%. Yes, it'll happen in our lifetime, sooner than later. Comic books are not viable anymore.
So much sense that listen, those two icons are the coolest damn things in the world. I mean, I don't buy logos. I hate logos, but I will buy a Batman insignia, a Superman insignia, any day of the week. They're just badass. They're so cool. Yeah, I know.
It's beautiful. And so, so comic books, like, I'm going to rephrase that. There's still a big enough market out there to purchase comic books to keep a, decent sized niche industry alive. And the independents are kind of working on changing the things, and that's the future. I mean, that's the future. The big two, the future is not with them. And I never thought I'd say this, by the way. This is like new for me, because I wasn't sure if the independent stuff was going to work. And listen, some of it's still in question. All right. The independents have big platforms That certainly helps them sell books. We need to see people without big platforms selling some books too. But I think that might be part of the game. Like if you want to sell a comic book, you're going to have a platform too. Maybe that's the new future and cool. Then there's still a market for it though. The numbers prove that. The Indiegogo numbers without a doubt prove that the people want to buy comic books. They just don't want to buy Marvel and DC comic books right now because they suck. Marvel's trying to turn stuff around way too little too late. Plus the comic stores did not do what they needed to do. And they didn't come out as a united voice. They didn't complain about this stuff. They've been kind of quiet, and or if they're yelling, they're just yelling in their own insular bubble, at each other, instead of trying to get the attention of Marvel or DC and Diamond and trying to do something radical and change. I know Brian Hibbs from here locally bought my store, came out with this 10-point plan that was way too convoluted. Like, you need to make it simple. You need comic books need to be on pulp. They need to be freaking $1.99 or cheaper. And they need to be available at 7-Elevens and Walmarts and freaking everywhere. And if they're not, you're dead.
100%. It's that simple
and returnable.
That's why I'm a comic fan my whole life, but I stopped buying them, I don't know, 10 years ago. I mean, it's just like, Jesus Christ, you're gonna buy for $4.99 something that it takes you literally like 15 minutes to read, and then you have to wait another month for the next installment. I just would generally, well, for a while there, I limped along buying graphic novels that were collections, which is much more cost effective. But now it's just like, well, God, look, I just go buy half price books or something and get like, old Judge Dreads and stuff like that.
And the half price books and Comic Cons and eBay was eating away at your market. Like, okay, so you have comic shops, they would order a statue. If it didn't sell in a week, they put it on eBay for cost. Well, you're screwing yourself by doing that. So just don't order the statue and you're fine. And then people go into cons and they're selling all the trades and everything at half off. Well, you just screwed your industry. I mean, like, for what? For this quick dollar, you're undercutting everything, making it worth less. So you might as well, my 5-point plan, put it on pulp. It has to be less than $2 cheaper. I'm thinking like $1.50. All comic books have to be returnable in the direct market. They need to be available effing everywhere and free. And we'll just add on free digital copy, because digital's, I mean, it brings in some money. That's with some really honest people, but very large portion of the comic book audience sails the high seas. So, I mean, I wouldn't rely on that at all. So that still might not work. Certain comic stores will survive. Absolutely. They're big, like SoCal. Jamie at SoCal Comics, he'll always be around. Brian Hibbs will probably always be around because, that's all he's ever done, really. I mean, he's just a comic book guy and he knows how to work the system, and he's more of a bookstore. So there'll always be some in like the bigger cities, but your little local suburbans, I mean, forget it, it'll be very, very niche at some point, kind of like vinyl record stores. You'll find them where the hipsters are and stuff, but that's about it.
You're right. They got to pull it back, less titles, higher quality, no woke on pulp,
that too, of course.
On pulp. Get back to the basics and just tell great stories and stop trying to top each other with, nihilism and wokeism and whatever fucking isms. How about just quality? How about just telling some great stories of real heroes and fun narratives? And hell, if you want to make them postmodern, make them very witty and stylish, like Tarantino's movies were once upon a time, before he also went off the deep end, in my opinion.
No, I missed the biggest point. Thank you for putting that up. No woke. So what I would do in the comic industry is I put a moratorium on politics 3 years, 2 to 3 years, not a reference, nothing, zero. I want to see how talented of a writer you are. I want you to tell a superhero story. Yeah. And I want, at the end, I want to feel hopeful, inspired. Inspire me. Don't depress me. Tom King's looked at this genius. He made Batman sad. So all he did was made himself Batman. Great. So he's this semi-suicidal ex-CIA guy. Yeah, I'm glad he's not working in the CIA anymore. But I wish he wasn't ruining Batman either. Not a fan of this guy at all, by the way.
No.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. So, yeah, buy independent comics. You know, Micah Miller was doing one. God, it was right here. I would have.
Oh yeah, and I mean stuff like
CBS
Vertigo
used
to do, and the boys. I mean that stuff was great. I mean it doesn't have to be a return to an age of innocence, but
no,
you know, brilliance. That's what we want. I mean, hire the best and have them kick ass.
Yeah. It's I do a video once in a while, D Oberg, but those are the hardest ones for me to do because it gets me down, man. That one gets me down. That's a big part of my life. And watching the industry go down, and then I reached out to retailers, man. I got some reality with that. I could only run with one comment, so I reached out to like 7 people that I used to know. And I got a couple of I don't want to associate comments with your channel. Yes, I did get that from friends. Well, friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
And then I got one that just called it I mean, it was from Jamie, and I love Jamie, and you know, it's bullshit propaganda. And that's a Jamie comment. And that's the one I ran with. And the other ones just didn't even respond to me. So yeah, maybe I'm not well loved over there, because you know what? Yeah, you know, I'm down with some of the Comicsgate stuff. I really am. I think that as far as a consumer movement, I think they're brilliant, and I think what they've done in the independent stuff is brilliant. And you know what? Maybe that's hard for some of the retailers and some of the people working currently in the industry to hear right now. And the ones who are successful, quite honestly, they got one foot out the door. Because they want to work in Hollywood. They don't really want to work in comics. I've said this before. We miss Doomcock, the John Burns, who like just wanted to write comic books and draw comic books. That's all that guy's ever wanted to do. We need people like that back in the industry. Mm-hmm. And you know what? They are. They're making they're doing the Indiegogo stuff right now. Those are the people who love comic books.
At least some of them. I mean, I'm sure that's just still some wanting to, you know, vault to, you know, Hollywood or whatever, but in general I think that it's so hard.
Then they would play the game. I think
Yeah.
they would just play the game with Hollywood, with Marvel and DC. I think I truly believe the Indiegogo people just want to make a comic book, and maybe, you know, if they get optioned, we'll see. Maybe, you know, times change. You're right, but
no, I see your point though. I mean, that's where the if you want looking for artistic validity in comics, that's where it is.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, so I think we've basically solved the problem here. I think if they would watch this live stream, the Inquisition, and follow our advice, the comics industry could be revived just like that. I think
it could. And, you know, like you and I talk about TV and Star Trek and stuff, but well, I mean, like I obviously have a background in comics, and Doomcock's dabbled, we'll say, and I'm probably being not very accurate, but in comics, he knows his shit when it comes to comics. Just take my word for it. Snowflame. I just see a snowflame in there, Mikey. I got to give acknowledgement to the official superhero of Nerderotic, where cocaine is God and he is the instrument of his will, even though I do not partake. Snowflame does. It's part of his superpower, which is just one of the weirdest comic books. And he's a DC comic book villain from New Guardians #2, where he lived and died very short death, just like most people with cocaine do, you know. Criminal Imagination for Canadian $10. The curious case of estranged adults who make megaphones out of not only their kids, but their people's kids too. Add extra cringe with the YouTube channel who makes new kids swear too for no reason. Yeah, I don't make my, I don't know. Criminal Imagination. Who makes their kids swear?
I don't know. Are they talking about that Sophie?
Soph? I had never heard of Soph. Oh,
Me either. And I just went and watched one. I'm like, what the fuck
I
is this?
did. I
Oh
could
my
not
God.
believe it. I'm like, oh my God, who are her parents?
She talks like I would talk on BitChute. I don't talk like that on YouTube, but I do talk like that in real life. And you know, I mean, me on YouTube is me being restrained because the algorithm and everything
Yep,
else
yep,
is
yep.
getting banned. But you know, she basically swears like Doomcock would on BitChute, and that's quite a formidable and terrifying thing.
Yes. I'm not that bad, but I'm really bad with the F-bombs. I drop tons of F-bombs like all the time. I'm very
Oh,
restrained here.
Yeah, my mom was Quentin Tarantino, I think. My mom, she swore like this way back when it wasn't fashionable. So you know,
my dad did. My dad was a swearing machine. So my mom was nice. Yeah. So
excuse me for just a sec. I'm going to run and get a refill on my scotch. I would send you a private message, but I don't know. I don't know how to do it in StreamYard. So
just say I need to go get scotch. I love scotch.
I'm sorry, dude. You know, I'll from now on, I'll say milk.
I don't know. I'm just joking around. It's Ron Burgundy, man. He loves scotch. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I love scotch.
I'm drinking Johnny White Walker. You know, that's the only thing left for me on Game of Thrones is the special scotch that they issued. It actually White Walker scotch, I have to say, is quite good. So, you know, just heads up, any of you out there. Anyway, I'll be right back. Sorry.
All right, no worries. I'm gonna shit. What I'm gonna do is,
and I would slip off, but it takes about 45 seconds a minute.
Oh, take your time. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up some of the super chat.
Awesome. Here. I'll be right there.
And we'll go from there. Is that the super chat one? Live stream. Maybe that's it. We'll find out. There it is. There we go. Cool. All right, so I can read some of the super chats here. I read that one already. Okay. I see the franchises and this is, by the way, William for $4.99. Criminal Imagination. Thank you for the Canadian $10. Canadian pesos. I see the franchise and fan bases as oak trees. They take decades to grow, and SJWs are wrecking them at a rate that is unsustainable. William. That's a great point. Yes. They are destroying them at a record rate. It's like burning down rainforest. If you want, it's like plastic in the ocean. They're effing. It's what they think climate changes. I mean, that's what they're doing to our beloved franchises. They are pissing and crapping and all kinds of metaphors that they're destroying it. And that's all they care about. That they just want to take something away. Doomcock talked about this.
Yes,
they want to take. Doctor Who, Romana. They could have made a Romana show.
Mm-hmm.
A Romana show would have gotten all of your hardcore Doctor Who fans, and they could have educated all the new fans, and you could have done crazy shit with that show, innovative stuff with that show, and it would have done well. Listen, they did the Sarah Jane Adventures. Sarah Jane Adventures did very well, and they only stopped because unfortunately Elizabeth Sladen died. It was a popular show that got good ratings that Doctor Who fans loved, and I liked it for a kid show. I liked it. They could have done something like that, and they could have shown that show, say at the end of the year, and Doctor Who at the beginning of the year, and then you'd have two shows, and you'd be making double the money and twice the action figures, and it would never be out of the consciousness, and people would always be talking. Then you have fun crossovers and do all kinds of crazy shit. Nope, we want to replace your male character. That's it. That's all we care about.
That's basically it. That's all they care about. It's sad. It's sad. This thing could be so huge. It really could. They were making inroads in the United States. I mean, who could have been really just. There's no limits to what it could have done, and instead they have.
I have somebody to talk about that with because I usually don't. So you know that Doctor Who was never ever really popular over here. Like it had its fans, but it wasn't popular. But about 10 years ago, it got popular.
Mm-hmm.
Like it became a thing. It got like Star Trek popular. Like people were loving it. And it was a growing thing. And it was because it was on Netflix and David Tennant and the 50th anniversary. And they burned that up overnight. And it's nowhere near as popular as it was.
No. I mean, they were very angry when Eccleston left, because he really, they made a big splash with that first series, and then it just grew with Tennant, and Jesus, they've lost all traction here, as far as I can tell. Really, they're certainly not converting new fans. There may be woke people that are pretending to be fans, just defending the audacity of turning it into propaganda, but they're not actually watching. They're certainly not buying anything or going to conventions. They really, really could have made this great over here, and they've fucked it up. They pissed that opportunity away.
Yes, they did. Orcanestra for $2, just a tip. Keep up the great work, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I will follow that tip. I will try to do my very best. Candace Marie for $10. Need Inquisition shirts. I'd buy. Love y'all. Okay. We can get on that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The guys at Popcast Doomcock have mixed teas, and they did my Justice for a Nosh shirt, and they are really nice. So so anything that I do, I'll be doing that, but you and I'd have to get, because we'd have to split stuff on that, but we'll get together. Yeah, if you want one, we can make it happen. We can do, even with them, we could do like a low print run and make it do our own store or something like that. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that's a great idea. I like.
Well, we just may have to be quantumly entangled on certain lines here as the Inquisition grows, and and God knows, Exozone, same thing.
Yeah. Ooh, Exozone shirts.
Yeah, that would be cool.
By the way, I read the book, Captain SJW Mary Sue, who's now Selena Kyle, implored me to read the book about that guy's adventure in the forest up here on the UFO, where he was stuck in a tree. And I read the book, and we'll cover it on the Exozone. It's actually a pretty interesting story. I did not know a lot about it. Now I do, and it's very interesting. Captain Nova Roma for $1.99. Lashana Lynch, the new Doctor Who. Have her be Bond and Doctor. Yes, just do it. You know what? Have her be Luke Skywalker too. She can be Luke Skywalker, James Bond, Doctor Who, and Spock. Epic. She could be like Eddie Murphy. We can all have them in one movie.
Jesus.
Captain Spire, $10 size. Axonar. They have fewer live viewers than Anti-Trekker, and they keep showing us what they did years ago, but barely have built a bridge set currently. Is it still relevant or hopeful? You want me to be frank about this one? I'll be frank about this one.
Sure.
I don't mind. Let me get on camera for this.
Hello?
There we go. I'm back on.
You cut off for a sec.
I hit the wrong damn thing. I hid myself. Boomer. Here, let's get both of us going here. But with Axonar, this is just a fan talking from the outside. They went to the well too much. Robert Meyer Burnett leaving and them not treating him well hurt them. Them attacking Mecca hurt them. I was part of a podcast that they invited me on at the time. They were talking about like building a network and stuff, and I was interested. I listen to everything. I'm not really into affiliating, by the way. I mean, I'll work with Doomcock and I'll work with Jeremy and stuff, but I mean that's just as a guest, you know. But I'm going to make videos for Geeks and Gamers. Matter of fact, I'm going to be working on one next week. But like I'm still my own thing, and the reason I'm working with Jeremy is because Jeremy will let me say whatever the hell I want. It's not going to like trip on it, and that's I'm fine with that. And Doomcock and I have been our channels have grown together, and but I was listening to it, but I was on part of a podcast, and all of a sudden Vic Mignogna comes up, and I was not comfortable with that conversation because I don't think he would have liked what I had to say. I was on his podcast, so what I did was I shut up. I just like let them have their say about Vic. I didn't agree with it at all. Now he's got a history with Vic and he knows him better than I do, obviously, but I'm just with the Vic thing. I'm very much of I need some evidence, please. Until then, it just looks like they're trying to destroy somebody's career because of petty jealousy. But
well, I support Vic.
Yes,
I
do
have
too.
always supported Vic, and anybody that's so fucking cool as could make Star Trek continues and make it authentic and make it with love and make it much more Star Trek than anything CBS is doing. That guy's all right in my book.
Yep. And it was good. It was good that I'm sorry I missed him, but he was at the Star Trek convention. I'm glad he was there, and there was no kerfuffle about it. There's nobody banning him there. So I mean, I think that goes a lot to show you that none of that anime stuff was popping up there, and he was there, and everything was fine. Because Mecca got to meet him and said he was cool, and you know, I bet you he's personally affected, but nobody gives a shit. But the thing was, what Alec Peters did was like, and I got nothing personal against the guy, but the reason their channel's not getting traction, they went to the well, they asked for too much money, they haven't produced very much. And when you ask for that much money, you better produce something like eventually. I mean, people will be patient, and I understand things take a while to produce. They do. But the Vic thing compiled with the Mecha thing, compiled with the money thing, I think it really, Captain Spire, I'll be frank, I think it affected their channel. And I think it affected their status with Star Trek fans. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. And I think Vic has his share of Star Trek fans. And
he should
because
who the fuck could see brilliant. What he did and not love it?
And
honestly,
that's a completed work. So that's you know, again, nothing super personal, but yeah, I think that's probably part of the problem. You know. Mm-hmm. Psycho Dwarf 9, $5. Flush Disney Star Wars. If I go back, it'll be EU books. Old EU books. I heard some of them were really good. Doomcock, some of the older stuff that Disney shit canned. I heard some of that stuff was really good.
Absolutely. Listen, what any of that shit would have been vastly better than the crap they came up with the Lucasfilm story group that was comprised entirely of women who weren't Star Wars fans and hadn't written anything. Like there's one woman that had written a couple of scripts, and then there were like some associate producers and gophers on other things. That was the commitment to story. That was the commitment to quality and literacy that fucking Kathleen Kennedy wanted to foist on us as Star Wars. That's how much she fucking cared about the property. Mm-hmm. It just shows it was entirely political, not story. In the Lucasfilm story group was a secondary concern. I did a video about that like a year ago, and I was appalled. I could not fucking believe what I was hearing when I was told this. It was astonishing to me.
And now it's just it's par for the course for everything now. Story is secondary, and that's why, you know, it's on the decline. I hate to, you know, it's just fact. This isn't an upswing in entertainment as far as films and franchises are concerned. Aeronaut for $2. Hail the Nerderator and Great Lord. Hail to you. Cracklin, $5. Nerdcock. Doom Roddick. I like Doom Roddick better, but you know, whatever. It's time for an Ewok Jedi. Thoughts? They haven't done that yet. Somebody's had to have done an Ewok Jedi. Come on, EU guys. We're the EU lore masters out there going, well, actually, an Ewok Jedi was in Star Wars Tales number 37 from Dark Horse in 2004. I'm bullshitting, but you know, it's had to have happened. Fat Gandalf, $4.99. Star Wars lost the Joseph Campbell myth and embraced the merch. Yeah. I mean, Star Wars has always been about merch, but yes, Tokyo Gaijin. But Fat Gandalf is never wrong. He might be a little rotund, but we'll put Gandalf on the treadmill a little bit, or you could just do a spell. I mean, Gandalf is just a spirit in a human shell anyway. So that's all he really is. He's not really an old man. Tokyo Gaijin for 500 yen. Disney is copying from STD now. Originally, Rey wasn't going to be as powerful until STD Mikey Spock. Now they need to outdo Mikey Spock. What, they gave her a time traveling Iron Man suit? She can
with
lift
infinite
a Death Star.
capacity and infinite. Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Doomcock, how did she move a church? Oh, okay, why did she go to World War III, save a church full of people, and move the church to give them? I mean, that wasn't even their base of operations at the time because they went 900 years in the future. So, what was the point of putting to set up a society for them to go to, and hopefully it's there in 900 years?
The point, I think, is either incompetence or cocaine.
I'm thinking cocaine.
It's one or the other because it just is absolutely nonsensical. It makes no goddamn sense at all. It's basically all that they did, Gary, and you know this, is they had a bunch of episodes that were not linked, and they just go ahead and oh, look, a red burst above this planet. Let's go have an adventure. And then they're acting like this was some kind of fucking master plan or clue. It was all bullshit. It was just random shit that they, there was no plan. There's no rhyme or reason to it, Gary. It's just complete shit.
My favorite part about that nobody watched because it's on CBS All Access is Kurtzman and Caden were interviewed, and the interviewer asked them specifically, like, we saw the helmet cam footage of the Red Angel going to World War III. Are we going to see a resolution to that? And they're like, you see them looking at each other. They're all, yeah, sure. There's a resolution. It happened. I mean, that's terrible. And they left that question in. That's how little material they have. JS for $4.99. Random thought. What did you think about the animated Hobbit movie, 1977? I loved it. Great soundtrack. My dad introduced me to The Hobbit that way. I loved it when it came out, and I remember feeling really sorry for Gollum for some reason. I felt like when I was 7, so I'm like, oh, that poor guy, he lost his precious, and he's really sad about it, Now, what do you think of the animated Hobbit movie?
It's been so long. I mean, Rankin Bass. I never watched it as a kid. I mean, I've seen excerpts of it and stuff. So I'm not really qualified to say it. I'm more qualified to talk about the Mad Monster Party, with the stop motion animated Drac and Frankenstein, and they're having a party.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah. I have not seen that, and wow, I forgot that existed. But now, yeah,
I know it was terrible. It was painful, and they had like a stop motion Phyllis Diller, who I guess was the bride of Drac or something. Anyway, the songs were terrible. It was kind of like the Star Wars holiday special. It was awful, but I sure would like those figures.
Even those figures would be great. I'm looking at, oh man, that's cool. So The Hobbit was fine. The Return of the King one by Rankin Bass has like some of the worst like folk music in it ever. So the music in The Hobbit's fine, but the one in Return of the King is it's bad. It's got some Gordon Lightfoot guy who sings like this in The Hobbit. I hate that shit. So it's terrible. But I like The Hobbit. Except for in Lord of the Rings and the Rankin Bass one, the Balrog, you could just tell it's a guy in a lion suit holding up some paper mache wings that they just freaking animated over. It's so bad. Oh my God, it's bad. Matt Joseph for $2. We'll send you a code for the Mummy if you want.
Oh yeah.
One. Yeah. Oh yeah. Goddamn. I need this. I heard this is just, it's a special kind of bad. And then this is the guy they handed the keys to the kingdom of Star Trek to right after he made this film.
After he killed the entire plan for the dark universe of Universal, the rebooting the Universal horror movies as an entirely updated version, a whole franchise that Universal had planned, killed with one stroke of Kurtzman's pen. Just one. That's all it took. That's how bad Kurtzman is. Same thing with Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, why?
How does this guy keep getting work?
I don't know.
CBS, we've been. I mean, like we're trying to help you. We are trying to help you. I mean, like, I know you want to listen to the other YouTubers. Listen to us. We just want you to be better and a clean slate. A clean slate. I can go without Star Trek for a couple of years for a clean slate. It's too late for that though, unfortunately. Yeah. Can we have a Gomer Pyle Starfleet captain, please? That'll probably be the next captain for Star Trek Discovery. Riff Magos for Australian $5. They said they're going to have a new captain. I was kind of assuming it'd be Michael Burnham, but
God, I don't know what they're going to do. It's pathetic. The whole thing is fucking insane.
It is. Daniel for $5 was on a date and she mentioned Lost and Game of Thrones as her favorite shows. When she said she loved both endings, I told her it wouldn't work out and I left. Yeah, it's probably for the best. You know what? Yeah. Honestly, you gotta, listen, you could have stayed together, gotten married, and $68,000 later, you're not married anymore. Oh, that was my story. For my first marriage. Yeah, you're just better off. Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. Hail DC and Gary. I find it funny on last week's Inquisition, DC said Epstein would never be able to spill the beans on the higher ups. Yes, he did.
I did, dude. I did, and I knew it. I just knew it. Look, it's not even I mean, I'm not scared to make that prediction. I wasn't, because it's like inevitable. And sure as shit. I mean, they were bold as.
Well, what was everybody's reaction? They had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
They just straight up going, we're doing it.
Yep. Just because the stakes were too high.
And the camera, you know what? And listen, all the sheeple are going to run with it. They're going to go, yeah, the mainstream media said the camera came off. And I know it's a crazy coincidence, but, I need to watch X Factor. So yeah, that's how this happens. And that's how Star Trek Discovery has fans. Another random thought. I believe Star Trek / Star Wars will be saved when Q shows up and snaps his fingers to correct the timelines. JS, he's right here, man.
I already laid it out. I said that to CBS. I said, make Q turn up and have it be that this was a entirely constructed reality for Picard to see that this is the course that the Federation is headed on, unless some temporal disturbance is taken care of, to make it impressed upon Picard the gravity of the situation. And that leads into Picard. That would have been the negation of STD. And in fact, wiping it from the timeline would have been the impetus for Picard. You see how elegant that is?
It would have been the decent thing to do.
It would have been good. It would have been really
good. It would have.
They won't listen.
No. Well, you're a Star Trek fan. They don't want to listen to you. You know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. And now he committed suicide. So let it be written. So let it be done. Hail Doomcock and hail Gary. That's right.
Hail
suicide. Yes. Convenient deaths. Nova Roma for $4.99. When they made Princess Leia fly through space like General Zod, they ruined it did kind of look like General Zod from Superman 2. I always look at the Mary Poppins thing, but I'm like, see Zod flying up to the astronauts in the Richard Lester version. Planet Houston ruined Star Wars for me. At least they should show us Rey in a gold bikini. Nova Roma, he's always looking for the gold lining and everything. But we get the golden showers, unfortunately.
That's all we get. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, it just jumped on me, Doomcock. I hate it when that happens.
Oh man, it happens all the time.
Yeah. That's a funny one, but we're not up to that one yet. There's Gomer Pyle. Okay. JS, or is that the one okay. And Nova Roma, $4.99. When they made Princess Leia, I already read that one, Dan. I'm not into man butt. Doomcock 2019, haha, says Jiggy Fidgiggy Fiffy.
Yes, exactly.
$2 or $2. Aeronaut for $5. Wow, Doomcock is lit up. I hope he doesn't have he doesn't stroke out. Oh, he's doing good tonight.
Are you
He's
crazy?
doing good tonight. Yeah.
I'm just having fun, man. That's why I had to go and get a refill on my drink. I mean, this is like a party. I mean, I'm just having a blast.
Hey, Bionic Belly Button is here for $5.
Bionic Belly Button. Nee. Hello, Bionic Belly Button.
Mm-hmm. Hail Doomrotic. Hail Nerdcock. Great show. Please. P.S. Don't take away our man butts. Women appreciate beauty too. They do. I mean, we just could use a little more
look.
prestige.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I love Spartacus. I think Spartacus was fantastic. I think it was perfect pulp. And but it had a real I mean, for every butt and swinging dick I had to tolerate on Spartacus, I also got very explicit female beauty. So it's like, okay, I can look away, but man does not live by bread alone or man butt alone. Period. That's just the way it is, and I can't take it. I can't take it. I mean, I look at I have man butt shoved in my face. That's it. There better be a goddamn square up. There better be a goddamn square up. And if there's no square up coming, then it's like it's like the goddamn fluoride in the water turning the frogs gay.
Yep. Except they won't need the fluoride.
They don't need the fluoride. They just gonna have the man butt.
They need to have a boob square up, kind of like a super chat square up.
Yes.
Somebody's gonna figure it out someday. Somebody's gonna make just like a movie that's just testosterone filled, action pack. It's gonna have great women in it too, and everybody's gonna be naked and shooting at each other, and it'll make all the money. And that might wake up Hollywood. Or I mean, it's either that or it's going to be a comedy mocking all of this SJW stuff that we've gone through for the last couple of years, and it'll be like the Blazing Saddles for SJWs. That would be great too. Those could be paradigm shifts in entertainment if somebody's brave enough to have that. But that person would get booted out of Hollywood forever.
Well, I've talked about that the thing that I'm going to do, I'm not going to do a comic book. I'm going to do a movie. I'm going to do a grindhouse, just reprehensible in every possible way, ultra violent, naked, cheap, unapologetically cheap, pulpy kind of movie. That's what I'm going to crowdfund eventually. I need to get about another 40,000, 50,000 subs before I get to that kind of EVS level. But it's coming.
And I'll sell it in my store.
I might even work with you to produce it with me.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm in.
I mean, why not? Why not? I think you'd be a great producer.
Why, thank you. Let me tell you, I did like, I was just about to pull it up here. So when Grindhouse came out, I couldn't stand Death Proof. Like I just really couldn't stand that movie at all. But I really loved Planet Terror. I Planet Terror was cool.
I did too. That was a lot of fun. But I'm talking about more something along the lines of Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS.
Yes.
Robots, and I mean, that like Planet Terror would be highbrow. But the thing is, the movie that the movie that I'll do, it will be witty. It will be funny. I mean, that's the thing. The script is going to be second to none. I'll tell you that. The script will be fantastic. It'll be fun. It'll move. It'll be really funny. But then, of course, it will also deliver the nudity and the sex and shit like that. So, I think Inquisition Productions. Who knows?
I like that. Kegger Rogers says I could be the on-set fluffer. Only for the one-legged women, though. Okay.
I think Doomcock can fluff on set. It's not beneath me. For the women, yeah. Not the men that can go, they're out of line. There won't be any naked men. What do I need naked men for?
Men.
The only naked men on the set will be me, and it'll be behind the camera. That's how toxic I am.
I only direct naked. So Artur. Shouldn't Disney be broken up like all other monopolies have been? The art of the real $5. Yeah, I was 100% against the Fox deal, weren't you as well?
Oh God, yes. I'm so sick of this consolidation of power and authority. I mean, it's bad for consumers. It's bad for consumers. That's the one political thing that look, I speak out against. You talk about government regulation and stuff. Some fucking government regulations are important, and antitrust legislation is fucking important.
This is why.
This is fucking why. Because capitalism only works when there's competition. If there's not competition, it's no longer capitalism. And what you've got is a company that can then give you any shit that they want to because they don't have any competition. That is why antitrust legislation is important. That is why some government regulation is vital, because for the consumer, because then we're helpless under a rapacious company that has succeeded too greatly.
Yeah.
And we suffer. This is it, dude. This is why no extremism is the problem.
Yeah.
When you got one side saying no government regulation, the other side saying all government regulation, it's a happy medium, period.
Yes.
And
that's reality.
Every fucking instance. All this this goddamn ideological purity on both sides is bullshit. That's the death of democracy in this country. We need a common sense centrist party to take back the fucking country, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more. I would love I love capitalism in its purest sense, which would be, mostly small businesses, some bigger than others. I don't want to begrudge anybody making their money in as much as they can. If they have something to offer, great. But like limits and I would love for us to live in a world where it would be self-imposed. Like we'd put our own limits on. Like I have limits to stuff. There's lines I won't cross. Personally, I don't have to not cross them. I just choose not to. And that would be great, but that's not reality. And we need to have that, because this sucks. Disney controls all the information. They control. I mean, they're making truth. They're in the process of. They're not even making good movies anymore, but they're making truth, or their version of it, which is all a lie. And there's plenty of people willing to believe it. And that's that. Mark C. I'm going to pull this up now. Mark C. put up a super chat in another live stream that I want to read to everybody because it was really good. And he was talking about Watchmen, but within this super chat, he says something pretty smart. So they were talking about the Watchmen, and Mark C for $10 put in, Watchmen seems to play in the base fears that comes from reading headlines, but being too lazy to research information. Emotion without thought. I find such forms of entertainment potentially dangerous. And that's exactly what we're fighting against right now, is that it's all this purely emotion based with no facts behind most of this shit right now. Mm-hmm. And it's all feelings and inclusiveness, and you might hurt somebody's feelings when that's not what it's about at all. It's about putting people on the defensive, making a whole half of our country feel like they're a villain or act like they're a villain when they know they're not telling the truth. And it's spinning these freaking lies all the time that has allowed Disney to get so powerful. They've gotten so powerful because they're playing to their base right now. And but they still have a bunch of us over here. For the longest time, we were like, oh, we'll still give you money because we like this stuff. And then like, wait a minute, this isn't anything I used to like anymore. I don't recognize it anymore. And that's where the danger comes in. And now they have so much fucking power. And where did that regulation go? Where I mean, because I've been alive when they've broken up companies before. And
I think it's absurd and obscene that, I mean, what? So now they've got ABC and I mean, Fox. it used to be the FCC would prevent this kind of consolidation of media power in one vessel. That's why I was very like surprised when I heard that they acquired Fox and that like what they've got the Orville. And it's like, how could they fucking have the Orville when they already own ABC? That's two network television, television networks in America. How can that be?
It shouldn't. It should have been stopped, and it wasn't. So, but you know what? A lot of shit should have happened. Epstein should still be alive right now, but he's not.
Yep.
Are they going to remake Mars Needs Women? LOL. Mars Needs Mom, you mean? Mars Needs Moms, one of the single most disturbing movies I've ever seen. Sam Whiskey for $1.99. I actually worked on the Blu-ray for it.
I never saw it. Is it any good? Mars Needs.
It's Robert Zemeckis using that animation technology. It's really creepy. It's a dark movie.
Mars Needs Moms.
Oh, it's dark as hell because there's a lost kid on there, right? And it turns out they brought his mom up and his mom died. So he's just been trapped up there. And yeah, Mars needed moms and they were kidnapping moms from Earth and
doing stuff to him.
Yeah,
excellent. I gotta see this movie.
It's freaking dark and weird.
Now this is a remake that I'd like to do. Rated NC-17 at best.
Mars Needs Moms. It's
sweet.
It's bizarre movie. Filamax for Australian $7.99. The loss of imagination was used as a plot device in the never-ending story, but to see it actually happening is worrying with recent films, etc. Yes, Filamax, great point for Australian $7.99. It's getting late too. TJ Paris for $5. I'll bet you this $5 that they get a little sister from Stranger Things for the new Home Alone. The little sister. Yes, I agreed. Yes, I'm forgetting her name. The black girl, the little black girl for Home Alone. Yes, I agree. Done. You just cast her. Tim Riggs, $4.99. I guarantee Epstein committed suicide just like Frank Pettingill did in The Godfather Part 2. Yes, exactly. You still with me there, Doomcock?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, I just got quiet for a second there. I wasn't.
No,
looking,
I'm just.
so I don't know if I boomered it or not. Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple more. So let's see. Can I get to everything? It doesn't look like it. I'm gonna have to read two more, and we will make up the rest tomorrow on the Nooner. I'm on a hard time schedule tonight. Yes, I have to get back to work, or this computer's never gonna get done. Okay, so I'm doing my great dusting and moving my office because I have to Tetris this thing to bring a new computer in, and half of my room is out in my living room right now, and my wife gets back tomorrow, and that shit better be back in my room by the time the wife gets back, or she won't be happy. Happy wife, happy life. I can't believe how much like it's a little corner here. I'll show you real quick. It's like a little corner and it's just nothing. I mean, there's nothing there right now because I moved it all. So like this is the only time you'll ever see a blank wall. I'm got puppets hanging from the wall.
Nice.
But damn. Like the area from this, like I've got action figures in my kitchen right now. It's spread out to my kitchen, my living room. I've got these plastic short boxes of comics like this high out there. And I hid everything like under shelves, and it's weird how much stuff I was able to fit in here. I've got to get rid of it. That's why I need to open a store. But yeah, Mrs. Nerdrotta comes home tomorrow and that shit.
Jesus, my whole lair is so in disarray right now. I'm going to have to take a few days away just to clean.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm going to have to produce a video, and I got a follow up. Maybe I'm not sure, to one thing, and then I have to do another live stream tomorrow. But let's get to as many super chats as we can. But yeah, I got a few more minutes. Here we go. Peter Davison for Australian $5. Did you hear the Doctor Who rumor that Jodie's regeneration was forced? A forced regeneration?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear those. I heard that she The fact that she had to go back and do it for contractual reasons. That's the only thing that I'm like, it must be bad. I can see them firing Chibnall. That I can see. I mean, like, I can just absolutely see that. And I could see Jodie being upset and wanting to walk with him. But I mean, she would screw her career if she walked from that show forever. Like, she would never work at the BBC again, like ever. So I can understand her going back and regenerating and making people happy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I want it to be true. It's so bad. I do. Listen, I still think no matter what happens, they're gone after 12. At least Chibnall is for sure.
I think so. I think they're done, dude. I think they're done.
And they might be done now. I mean, like, maybe they're done filming. I don't know. We haven't heard a peep from anything in the last 72 hours. So we'll see. Hail Gary, hail side boob for 20 Danish crowns. Yes, we all love side boob. We do. At what point was Kathleen Kennedy a top person? Asked Fat Gandalf for $1.99. Well, her name was associated with a lot of top people, Fat Gandalf, and I think people just assumed she would be a top person too. Guess it didn't rub off.
No.
Best HBO series ever made. Thoughts on Chernobyl? Ask Ed Caron III for $2. I never finished it. Did you?
I watched some of it, and I thought it was quite devastatingly well done. It's just such a relentless downer, and it's something everyone should watch, but it's not really. I wouldn't call it entertainment. I would call it important. I would call it documentary, and I don't know. It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I grew up I grew up near the nuclear boobs. I don't know if you ever heard of San Onofre power plant. It looks like two boobs. Has anybody ever seen it?
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's I grew up near that. And it was in the back of the phone book. They had like the radius to where, like, if the alarm sounds, you have to be out of this radius by this amount of time or you're dead. And that was in the back of our phone book, which was always fun to see when you're a kid. Yeah, that didn't traumatize an entire generation. Getting the stink off of STB would take one of those lasers that burn rust off of metal, says Fixie Clary for $5. Yeah, probably would. Yeah. Sam Whiskey, $4.99. I skipped class to go see Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan back in '82. It blew my 12-year-old mind. Oh yeah.
Star Wars was, yeah.
Well, I mean, and remember, we're coming off of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. I mean, you knew it was going to be action-packed, by the way. Like, you just, we saw the trailers. We're like, Khan's back. Whoa, yeah, and the great thing about Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, even though Kirk and Khan don't ever are never physically in the same room, it didn't matter. That movie moves. It's both scary and action. Some of the best freaking soundtrack ever. Great acting. Everything about and it's fast paced and it's short. It's a beautiful movie. It's a goddamn beautiful achievement of art. Jeff McKelvey, $10. Love you guys. You have the best wrenches in the business as well. Without respect, we reject. Keep on keeping on. Yeah, I do, by the way. Let me give a little shout out. I got to see who's here. I wish there was a button where I could just see Chris Purges here. Mark Lazurth is a wrench. Christy Miller, Nihilist Shadow. There's Mark Lazurth right there. Midnight's Edge After Dark. I gave them a wrench. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking there. I was being nice that day. I'm just kidding. And Mary Ashmead when she's around. And the Cinema Queen. I haven't seen the Cinema Queen in a while though.
I don't think I have a wrench. Do I?
Oh, well,
I gave you a wrench.
Well, how come I haven't given you a wrench?
I don't know.
Well, say hi in the chat and I'll give you a wrench.
I actually pulled it up, but that's okay.
No, so just say hi in the chat real quick and I'll give you a wrench. I don't know how to do it otherwise. I guess I could
let me look
manually put it in, but I'm lazy.
Are you on Nerdrotic or Nerdrotic Live?
Nerdrotic.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull it up here.
Gary Evans says hi.
Hello.
Yes, and Zabe says hi. So yes, well, I'm going to be doing something different with the wrenches who are wrenches now. They're staying wrenches, but it's going to be part of a tier. All my tiers are sold out and old on my Patreon. It's been ignored way too long. They're dried. Yes, I need
saying hello in the chat here.
Where is it? I don't see. Or maybe it's a little behind.
Give me a wrench, you bastard.
You bastard. Where is it? How come I don't see it?
Here we are, right there. You see me?
Hang on.
I just popped it in now. Hail, Gary,
weird.
Wrench, you bastard. May the seed of your loins be fruitful in the belly of your woman.
There we go.
Because I gave you a wrench.
Yeah. How come I don't see it in the chat? What am I? Hang on.
Okay. What is it actually at Nerdrotics?
Hit at Nerdrotic. Yeah. Well, how come I'm not seeing? There's Overlord DVD. There we go. I got it. Doing this live. Hey, doing it live.
That's right. Okay. We'll do it live.
You're added. Okay.
Oh, I've got a wrench.
There. You can now delete people and you are deleted.
Everyone tremble.
Everybody tremble. Where was I? Disney Star Wars only value to me is as garbage to feed into the meme and YouTube grinder. Well done, KK and Iger. You've reached it to meme poodoo, says Tim Riggs for $4.99. Actually, yeah, that's a great statement. I think the only enjoyment I get out of Star Wars is watching world-class bullshitters and geeks and gamers and Doomcock and EVS. And you guys, that's the only enjoyment I get out of it whatsoever. I could care less what's happening to that. And that's why I had no problem, talking about Star Wars rumors, because I don't care. They could they at 25%, 100%. Ray could lift a Death Star. Okay. Okay. The last Star Wars thing I own is a poster that my friend painted. Bill Selby of the Cantina Band. It was the first poster that was it was the first Star Wars poster produced that was not a movie poster for the fan clubs. And then I have these vintage curtains right here. That's it.
Oh,
and that's because Mrs. Nerdrotic got those for me, so I'm not going to get rid of them. That's it. I got rid of everything else.
Oh, thank you, Chris Potts, by the way. He offered to send me a copy of Mars Needs Moms.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna put my P.O. box in the chat if that's okay.
Hey, go. Oh, absolutely. Have some what's up, DJ D Show? Thank you for the wrench, man. Have some absinthe with that. I think it's a trippy movie.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. So I'm just sending it now, Chris. If you can see it, Master DVD, P.O. Box 200337, Austin, Texas 78720. I've never seen that movie, so I'd like to see it. Shit, I have a thing for MILFs, so
Did we never sentenced Disney for their historic use of sexual innuendos in children's films? Opinions on this? I'm not crazy about it. I think they were trying to be funny and not being weirdly perverted in children's films, but I'm still not crazy about it. I don't know. I think if we're trying to I think it was animators trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was dastardly. I don't think they were trying to send each other messages, although you never know. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
Considering, man, Epstein could have brought it all down. You thought that Harvey Weinstein was nothing.
No, I know. Compared to Epstein with his oh, I can't hear you now, dude.
Hang on.
There you are.
Can you hear me now?
Something? Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you now.
I hear you fine.
Okay. I was going to say Epstein could have dismantled the power elite. It would have caused mayhem. So this thing is, I knew it was coming. I'm just surprised that they were so inelegant and obvious about it.
Yep. I think we should talk about it on the X Zone for sure.
I think we should.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it because honestly, there's been people blowing the whistle on this guy for years, and I'll talk about it over there. Like this is like this. I couldn't believe it took him this long to bust the guy because I've been hearing his name years back, and the Lolita Express and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's so creepy, but it goes across like party lines, like I said.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, this is bullshit. This is such I am, and nothing will happen. I mean, like it's wow. Yep. Beat goes on, man. Disney cut off old expanded universe and rebranded it as Legends. Every comic, game, and book that Disney's made since buying Star Wars is labeled as canon. I refuse to address it as such, says Wayward Astronaut for $10. Yeah, I would too. That's it's ridiculous. Mark C for $5. Considering communist tendencies of Hollywood and Disney, maybe the Home Alone remake could be about Alan Horn lost in the Kremlin looking for Bob Iger. You guys are the kamikazes. You sacrifice yourself reviewing the trash so we don't have to. Hashtag Tora. Thank you, Peter Ford, for $4.99. I rewatched the original Critters movie last night. Classic. Damn, I missed the 80s. Typo negative for $4.99. Yeah, Critters is good. Trooper Bear FN 2525 for $2. Let's have an Orville con at the center of the earth. Fuck yeah. Yes. I don't know if we can have a Doomcock's place, but
oh sure. Listen, the Orville is welcome there at any time.
I am dead serious about the Orville con. I just don't want to organize it. I've got to crowdfund my own personal stuff, but I will publicize it left and right. I will be there. I will help, but I don't want to organize it. I would be the worst person to organize it, but I think we could do it. Like start off with like a small one in LA at some Scottish Rite Center or something like that. It doesn't have to be the Anaheim Convention Center. We just get a hall and we get some Orville fans there and we hang out for like, make it a weekend, like a 2-day thing. And I bet you they would show up. I'm just guessing that some of the people would show up. And it would be fun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we could just watch Orville episodes. We don't have to do anything fancy. We could just let's watch season. We'll have viewing parties and maybe Seth will, maybe Seth will show up. Maybe Seth.
He might. I bet Tom would.
Oh, Tom. Yeah.
Tom's awesome.
I hope Tom is picking up on this idea. I want this to happen. So, I'll help for sure. I would like the Mummy's John Hannah for the Doctor. I don't know who John Hannah is. I'll look, Mark C. I'll let you know. Mark, sight unseen, I would take him right now over Jody. Yes.
I don't even care. He sounds like a male, and that makes it better.
Yes. His name is John, although you never know these days. John Hannah. Yeah. Oh, from the original Mummy. Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll take anybody right now, but I'm not really for 50-year-old guy. I think he'd be a good doctor because he's a character actor. Doctors should always be a character actor, like a quirky character.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. He should never be a pretty boy or shit like that.
No. But I think I would just, young, you want to bring in kids right now. And part of the kids dropping off was Capaldi as well here in the States. I'm sorry to say. Ramsey Comics for £2. Rupert Grint or Jack O'Neill will be good doctors. Yeah, Rupert Grint. Can he still act? Ronald Weasley, is he a good actor? I mean, I've only seen him in the Harry Potter movie, so I don't know. He might be. Yeah, and he'd be a ginger. I think the Doctor should be a ginger.
I agree. Gingers are an endangered species. They are not being treated correctly. They're being systematically decimated and replaced in the media, and I support that 1,000%.
Yep. 624 boarding for $2. Disney World Orlando Star Wars opens at the end of the month, August 29th. We'll find out. I imagine it'll be busier. I agree with Doomcock. The difference is culture. So if you haven't spent any major time in California or grown up here, you got to understand, like we get the well-deserved bad rap of being weirdos and stuff out there. But the one good thing about Californians, the one great thing about Californians is we just don't show up for everything. You need to effing impress us because there's plenty of shit to do. So our team better be winning all the time or we're not going to show up all the time. We're effing fair weather fans because we're smart. We don't like wasting our freaking money on 4 and 12 seasons. So we don't show up for that stuff. And the movie better be freaking good. And the park better be freaking good. Or we'll just go to the beach or we'll stay at home or we don't give a shit. That's the one thing I like about Californians. The one thing I hope they stick with. And you want to make us pay for something? Okay, it better be good. Because we're not just gonna, you're not the football team isn't the only game in town. Other than San Diego, all the other cities have 4 or 5 sports franchises, and there's water parks and Universal Park. There's plenty. You can ski and surf in the same day in California.
I mean, listen, it's a great state. I just,
stepping a lot of poop on the way there, though.
Well, that's
that's
the problem. I mean, my God, I don't know if you listened to Clyde Lewis on, Ground Zero, but he was talking about like the coming plague and talking about how, Dr. Drew was like ranting at a recent conference or a TED talk about like, bubonic plague and all the old like breakouts that are just ripe in American cities that are sanctuary cities because, it's one thing to say, okay, homeless people will be welcome, but then you goddamn well better put the infrastructure to deal with them in place. And if you don't have porta potties and stuff, you're just like asking for rats and bubonic plague and typhoid and, typhus and all this shit.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll call out my city in a second here. There is a bunch of men and women who live in very nice flats and houses by themselves, or they have their partner living with them with no kids that have plenty of room for any of those homeless people. Let one of them live with you. There is a place for every single homeless person. There's more than, San Francisco is a crowded, crunched in city, but there's a lot of building real estate that's not being used by people who buy up, entire flats and live there by themselves. So but they're all for this being a sanctuary city and for place to, give them a place to live. You've got plenty of room. I mean, I have a family. I don't. My house is packed. But I also don't think we should be giving homeless people cash. That's just
no. Or a expensive $50,000 watch.
Or phones, right? No. There's a reason they come here, believe me. So, and that's, I have great sympathy for them, but there's a lot of people who have a lot of money down in Pack Heights and stuff who have plenty of room for them. Nancy Pelosi has a nice big house in Pack Heights. She could fit a bunch of homeless people in there.
Well, yes. But if you're going to tolerate like homeless people, then at least have bathrooms, porta johns for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of paying for people to sweep the streets, how about we keep the streets clean and just let them? I mean, I don't know. I if somebody's down on their luck and they're living on the street, I don't think it should be criminalized. But I also think that if you're going to take that responsibility, then you've got to think about the sanitation of the city.
I've never heard a good explanation for that. I mean, if they're willing to pay money for a crew to clean it, why not just put up a bathroom?
Yeah, a crew to empty out the porta johns.
They have a couple downtown, but I mean, they need them everywhere.
Exactly.
Because none of the businesses will let you. I gave you my story last time. Like I was, I had to take. I was late for the Exozone because Nerdrotic Jr. had to pee, and I had to park the car, buy a cup of coffee after I waited in line so he could use the bathroom, and then he jumps out of the John, and then I jump in the car, and it takes a half hour. But you got to plan better, obviously, and there is places to go. Also, there are public places to go, and there's not enough downtown though, so they need to fix that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't go downtown. Well, I can't even remember the last time I went downtown. I've been to downtown. I've been in downtown Las Vegas more than I've been down to downtown San Francisco in the last 3 years. That's the truth. Nutella is people. Nutella is people, says Anthony Mata for $1.99. I'll still eat it
from insane asylums.
Yes,
it's Nutella,
and I will enjoy it on a biscuit tomorrow morning. Unhinged Crank for $2. Doomcock dabbles in comics, specifically Carrot Top. No.
What?
No, that's a stretch. You dabble in comics, specifically Carrot Top.
Carrot Top? I don't get what that means. But I'm very knowledgeable about comics up until I stopped buying them. I'm not knowledgeable about the current scene and the woke shit that's going on at Marvel, and other than things that have been reported to me. But I have to say that for Jack Kirby, Stan Lee era, through the 90s into the early 2000s, like around where the boys were published, the Invisibles, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, all the Alan Moore stuff. So I'm up on all that. I know a lot of. I've got boxes after box after box after box filled with comics, bagged and everything else.
Comics stopped being good. They were pretty good. They went through a little renaissance after 9/11, and they were good until about, I'd say 2010, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And when Marvel Now showed up, when Avengers versus X-Men was kind of the beginning of the end, and the Quesada era, and well, that's when he left, and then Axel Alonso took over Marvel, and it just took. Guy was terrible, worst editor-in-chief of all time, and that's after Joe Quesada. Like, he made Quesada look great, made him look like Stan Lee. That's how bad freaking Alonso was. Everyone check out Starblades on Indiegogo. Gary's #1. Is it my #1? Is it really my #1? John Ronan. I'll have to look. Any interest in Cyberfrog from EBS? Yeah, I ordered it. Just finished the Maximum Carnage run and diving into Wonder Woman comics. What else should I go to? God, I just got EVS's Vampirella cover. I just came in the mail. I was going to show it to you guys, but it's outside. It looks really good. So anything else, Max? You liked Maximum Carnage run and diving into older woman like George Perez Wonder Woman or John Byrne? Either one of them are really good. Wow. What Doomcock just named, you can get into The Boys, The Invisibles, Preacher,
we got the whole run of Preacher,
Transmetropolitan.
Yes,
superhero stuff.
Metropolitan.
Grant Morrison did a great, cute little story 3-issue called We Three.
Oh, God,
it's great. It's heart freaking wrenching comic book. It's
one
of the best things I've ever read.
Well, I don't want to say anything, but it's not what you expect at the end.
Nope.
Say that.
Nope. It's like Homeward Bound meets the Terminator.
Yeah. It was fucking great. Sea Guy is one of the creepiest things I've ever.
Sea Guy is really weird.
It's really creepy and messed up. Promethea by Alan Moore.
Alan Moore
is fantastic. The man is actually a chaos magician, and fascinating. If there was anyone in the world I could meet, it would probably be Alan Moore. If I could ever meet and spend time talking to Alan Moore, I would be in heaven. Probably even more than Shatner. Actually, definitely more than Shatner. I think Alan Moore is a fucking genius. I'm blown away by the guy.
If you can find it, it's by Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly did an origin, like a straight serious origin of Space Ghost.
Nice. Oh yeah, I've got that. Was it painted?
Brutal. Yeah, like I don't want to ruin the origin, but yeah, it's painted. It's from
that.
2003 or 4. It's
got that.
brutal.
Yep.
It's so good. And Shaolin Cowboy so Burly Man Entertainment did 2 comic books, and that's the Wachowskis. It's back when they were the Wachowski brothers. They did Doc Frankenstein and Shaolin Cowboy, which Dark Horse does. I'm a Frank Quietly fan, and I'm also here. I'm gonna get a Jeff Darrow fan. I'm blanking on his name. I like super detailed art. Flex Metallo. Oh yeah, that's
Muscle Memory. Whatever it was called.
Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Muscle Mystery. That's what it was. Yeah, Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol is very weird. The Scissor Men. Yeah.
They put Flex Metallo in Doom Patrol season 1.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been watching that slowly. I should watch more of it.
It's got woke moments that I'm kind of.
Yeah.
But
It's good. It's good.
It's pretty good though. It's okay. It rallies at the end. It has a pretty decent ending. Swamp Thing started good and went terrible, like awful. Like I can see why they canceled it now. I was singing the show's praises, and then by the episode 10, I'm like, "Ooh, I'd have canceled it too." I think, I'm trying to think of what else. If you haven't read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that's my favorite Alan Moore story. So,
really? That's kind of, I don't know. I mean, Watchmen's better.
Yeah, and Watchmen's so typical though. It's like it's great, but it's like liking, the White Album. It's like,
well, so I mean,
no, I love the Watchmen. I mean, but I'd rather read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The Watchmen's depressing. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen's like fun.
No, well, you didn't read Black Dossier then, because
that's not fun. No, but
no. Well, I'm elated by Genius, and I don't care if the theme is dark or not. It's just sublime.
Watchmen is genius, but what had more impact on me when I was 16 when I read it was The Dark Knight Returns, because it was Batman.
Well, they were both outstanding. Both outstanding. I love The Dark Knight Returns, but I rank Watchmen above it because The Dark Knight Returns is very specialized, and it really is important to have the lore of Batman, whereas Watchmen's entirely self-contained. And
it's also been shat on by DC so much lately.
Yeah, I know it.
But dude, I got my IDW right there. Yeah. And I've read that stupid big thing too. Makes me feel like a little person.
I've got the Absolute Watchmen, Absolute Black Dossier. But in general, I think League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I mean, come on, compared to Miracle Man, come on.
Miracle Man's pretty good.
Jesus Christ, that's like the ultimate take on what really it would be like if Superman was in the world. I mean, Superman's not going to be fucking busting bank robbers. Superman is going to tackle the global problems and rule the earth. I mean, it's just that was a fantastic deconstruction of what a honest to God superhero would be.
I just liked him getting all the old characters together. I dig it. I like it. That's what I like. That's my favorite. It's still the first volume of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Loved it. Love it. To death. I hated what they did with the movie though. Killed me. Yeah. But I knew it would suck. Sam Whiskey for $4.99. I skipped. I already read that one. We can read a couple more. I'm like going way past time now. Where did I? Hail to the chat. Hail Gary and our Lord and Savior Doomcock. Hey everybody, cheers, says Bruce Lombardo, $4.99. Thanks for the coffee, dude. By the way, I got my new batch. Six turning 4 burning $2. Disney World Orlando. Oh, okay, opens the 29th. Just started book 4 The Expanse, says Unhinged Craig for $2. Unhinged Crank for $2. Comic shops must have back issues to survive. Yes, I have always said that though. Mm-hmm. Always. That's how they started. You can't like go away from what you started as. I don't care what anybody like. Listen, if you have to sell magic cards, you're not a comic shop anymore. I mean, you're a comic shop that makes money off of magic cards. Listen, I like magic cards, nothing against magic cards. I knew nothing about them, so I didn't sell them. I just don't want to sell anything I didn't know anything about. So I did no gaming or anything. I sold toys and comics. That's what I know. And it was, it worked out fine. And yeah, just sell back issues. Actually, nowadays, I think you can survive on that if you're in the right. It's got to be the right scenario, though. You got to have like a low rent or own the building. And you got to have a good pipeline on buying stuff. And yeah,
I got to say something here. I'm looking at Twitter right now, and I'm seeing that all sorts of horrible shit is going on in Hong Kong right now.
What's going on?
I've seen a picture of a woman on the ground saying Hong Kong riot police fired bullets and headshot a young lady. And it's
wow.
It just looks there's all sorts of terrible shit going on right now. I just want to send a shout out to my friend and Legionnaire John Tennette. I hope that you're okay and safe out there. I don't know. I don't know the full story. I just am scrolling through things, and it just Jesus Christ, riot. So there must be riot shit going on. A young woman has been headshot. It looks like, yeah. It's just a grim situation over there. I don't mean to. I just want to send a shout out to John and hope that you're doing well, my friend.
Yeah, stay out of trouble out there.
Yeah,
stay out of trouble. And yeah, I'm gonna have to get to the rest of the super chat. I apologize, but I do have to go. So I'm gonna do a Nerderotic Nooner tomorrow at noon, and I will do all of the making up there. I don't usually like leaving them behind, but accept my apologies. We can't go forever. And also we have to acknowledge it has been 5 years since we lost Robin Williams. I remember driving, I remember hearing that at work, man, what a gut punch that was. And I was not far. I was working up in Marin at the time. I was like 3 miles away from his house when it happened. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah. So I miss Robin Williams. He's like one of the, usually when celebrities die, I'm like, they die, but that one was special. He's come in my comic store a few times. He was a big time comic book and action figure collector. So yeah. And he was, we used to also, when he lived near the Cliff House, before he moved to Marin, he had the best house to go to trick or treat at. So here in San Francisco, you never trick or treat in your local neighborhood. You always take the kid. There's like a couple of 3 neighborhoods that you take all the kids to, and they're usually the rich neighborhoods, and they're usually very good about like rolling things out for the kids, because they know it's like kids from all the neighborhoods are coming in, and they go trick or treat. And San Francisco does it right. I mean, they get themed houses, but his daughter used to be out there passing out candy. And loved Robin. Yeah. And he came to my store a couple times, bought some stuff, and yeah, it's so we miss Robin Williams.
Yeah.
God damn, that sucked. So sorry to end on a down note. John Tennette, I want you to be safe, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow at noon after I will have a video in the morning, hopefully. And then it's going to be quiet because I got to finish this room. I got to finish this room or my wife will kill me. But yeah, you'll see a very different room. Very different. Yeah. Well, I mean, this part will be the same, but like this is all going to be gone.
Wow.
Moving that over there. Yeah. More real estate for action figures. Yeah. Robin Williams and Stan Lee, 2 people I miss. So thank you. Nicholas Horton wants you to remake Barbarella. I think that'd be good.
Well, I'd have to license it, but I might do something equivalent.
Yes.
I mean, it'll have the same spirit, only even worse.
Even worse. I love that.
Worse.
I love that.
I want it to be bad. I mean, great, but bad. I want it to be like something that will probably get national exposure by being so goddamn terrible.
Yeah.
Politically incorrect, full of nudity, violence. Female nudity. Ha!
Yes, lots of female. You know what? I watched Barbarella on Channel 5, and when I was older, I saw the real version of that movie because there's a TV version of Barbarella.
Oh,
Believe it or
God.
not, it's like an hour long, and I had no idea what I was missing. I'm like, oh man, this is such a better movie. Yeah. So everybody, why don't you? Hey, what's up? Deconstruction Ruined Comics. So Blacklist. Mike S. Miller's here. What's up, Mike? You got anything to promote before I go? Is your kid's game still going on? I will talk about it real quick. But in the meantime, Doomcock, please plug your channel.
Please subscribe to Overlord DVD. That is Overlord DVD, youtube.com / Overlord DVD. Also, I have a Patreon, patreon.com / Doomcock, where we get together live. Me and my legionnaires, villains, vagabonds, and rogues, all levels of support. We get together and talk in Discord chats several times a month. And also you get hours and hours and hours of exclusive content that's never been on YouTube and never will. So it's really quite a fabulous thing. And we're building a hell of a community down there. Please check it out.
All right. And I see Mike S. Miller. This is cool. I did not take advantage of this. I will do that next time. LorneStar.com is live and kicking. So hang on real quick. Mike S. Miller. Lone Star. I see an article about your controversy from bounding into comics.
What?
He had a Twitter controversy. It's that one's close. Oh, I picked the wrong one. Hang on. Is Monster Hunt still going? Yeah, Monster Hunt's still good. This one's cool. This is like a crossover. It's Lone Star plus Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift in a mega crossover event. And this is a homeboy here. He's in San Diego, and that's where I'm from San Diego, and I will always be a San Diegan, by the way. I just live in San Francisco. So please support Mike S. Miller's campaigns. Good dude. I met him at Comic-Con, and we're buds now. And we got to be live streaming soon. So I'm going to cut it off there. You guys know where to find my stuff. Cougar Knife says, I'm from San Diego. There you go. Right on. Yeah, San Diego's a great town. It's a great town. I was born there damn near 50 years ago. We're crawling up on my 50th birthday. Doomcock. We're getting really close. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Half a century.
Yes. More gray coming in the beard. That's for sure. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at noon, and Doomcock will be doing videos, and I'll be doing videos. Please go to nerdrotic.com for my live stream schedule. I'll fix those Patreon tiers finally tomorrow, but there will not be anything nearly as complicated as Doomcock. Unfortunately, I don't have time. So they'll be very simple and fun. But thank you for everybody who supports. I do appreciate it. And sorry I haven't got screw the Padres. It's all about the I don't care about sports ball. I don't care. So good night, everybody. Hey, we had a huge crowd tonight, Doomcock.
We did?
Huge crowd. We did. We had like 2,300 people at one point.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And as we hear more news, we will bring it to you.
Yes. And tune in next Sunday.
Yeah. Next Sunday. On Doomcock's channel. We do this every Sunday night, and we just alternate channels. 6 p.m. Pacific time. It doesn't go anywhere, even if we're traveling. Or even if we don't have internet in our hotel room, we figure it out.
Even if it's just one of us, whatever, we'll be here.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.